What's happening, gentlemen? Can you hear me this time? AJ Bubbs, Tim Bell, Brian Costello. How are we, fellas? Tell me that I can't ever move this thing. Tell me this is working. Oh, good stuff. Cheers, Tim. Johnny H. Zamir. Azanam. How we doing, guys? Calvin Jones, Stephen, Meechan or Meechan. Oh, spot on, Brian, loud and clear. Manny, Emilius. Hi, mate. We'll call towards the end of the week. Okay, mate. Michael Art. Looking forward to the crack. It's only a little chat. I'm actually, I've come in here because I was in the house. I haven't had a wash or anything. I finished work today. And finished work, come home, and my missus took the middle one, the middle daughter, off to the horses. And I've had the little fella, and he's only just gone to bed at 10 o'clock, 40 minutes ago. And when I've got the little guy, you just cannot leave him on his own. He's literally, he's like feral. He's wild. Never had a son before. It was my first time having a boy. The girls were no problem. The girls were dead easy to deal with. You could literally just set them down, little toy, put the cartoons on, and they would just stay still. They would just sit there and watch the cartoons and play with the toys. This little fella, I mean, I turned me back for 2 minutes and he's climbing up ladders. He opens the drawers. He's getting cutlery out the drawers. They've been pulling phone chargers out and sucking the end of the phone. He's just nuts. He's just 100-mile-an-hour nuts. So they've been out with the horses. I've had all of him, trying to organise tea and all the rest of it. Got absolutely nothing done. Still haven't had a wash. He's just gone to bed with his mum. So I thought, right, I need to come in here. I've got loads of footage on this that I need to put onto the old confuser here so I can start editing a video. So getting data from my phone uploaded onto my computer takes about an hour. And I can't leave it if the screen goes off on the computer or if the screen goes off on this. Like if I let the screen go off on that, it stops uploading the data. So I've basically just got about an hour where I've got to just be present. Now I usually just go on YouTube and watch videos myself, look for inspiration and stuff on other YouTube videos, but I don't know. Thought I'd fancy the chat. Thought I'd come and say hello to you fellas on here. So if you're all lying at home, chilling out on the couch, lying in bed or whatever you're doing, it blows my mind actually, because I speak to a few people, and I always watch YouTube. I don't know what you're doing here, but you can tell me actually. I always watch YouTube on this. I'll put a video on this and I'll set it on its side like that, and I'll just be sat there watching YouTube whilst my missus and daughters are all watching the telly. Now, if no one's in, I'll put YouTube on the big TV. But the amount of people that tell me that they sit there and watch YouTube on telly, I'm thinking they're watching me on the massive screen. It just blows my mind. The fact that, I'm sort of on telly in someone's house. I just think that's flipping nuts. It actually makes me a little bit anxious, thinking about it. I've got a little bit of stage fright in case, I just think, I'm looking here now. So we've got like Anthony Herbert or James Lee or Zazzy or Austin Green or whatever. So I'm thinking, right, okay, it's just like us blokes just sat here having a little chat. But I've also got to keep in the back of my mind, some of you guys have got me on the big screen, and the flipping, you could have your nan watching or your whole family. It's just a bit mad, isn't it? It's a bit, the more I think about it, freaks me out a little bit, Norfolk fireworks, literally watching you on my iPhone resting up against my drinks bottle. See, that's what I like. I feel like, it's a bit more private if you're just watching me on your phone. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I know. It's just stuff that goes on inside my head. Big Chris, my missus is sick of me watching you on the big telly. I know, yeah, I annoy my missus, so I apologise to Any wives or girlfriends out there that are sick of me, don't worry. It's not just you. My missus doesn't like me either. Never mind you. Janice, I Kurt, you're a legend. How can I change a pebble dash facade to a smooth surface? If it's Janice, if the pebble dash is solid, just go over it. Unless it's painted. If it's painted, then you have a few more issues. But usually, dash will be on like a lime base. All depends. Actually, I'm saying that depends where you live. But usually, you'll find that the dash receiver coat is usually quite soft. It's easy to get off, really. If you need to knock it off. Or if it's good and sound and solid, no big cracks and no hollow spots, you can just go straight over it. Unless it's painted. If it's painted, then you got to take it off. Really, there's other ways around it, but it's not worth it. By the time you spent hassle meshing it and plugging it and all the rest, it's just as quick to knock it off. AJ Bubs. Yeah, oh, we are, AJ. You're on the big screen in the kitchen from sunny Derbyshire. AJ, appreciate the drink in the pub, mate. Appreciate the glass of Coke. You're a gentleman. You're a top man. It was a pleasure to spend time in your company, mate. It was an absolute pleasure. And do you know what? I'm also made up, AJ. We keep talking about this. I keep reminding Leighton whenever we talk about Toyotas. I keep remembering saying to him, I keep saying to him, remember what AJ said about, is it Kaizen? Constant improvement. It's important. You think all these, Range Rovers and all that. I said, mate, the Toyotas are the daddies. That's it. They might not be sexy, but they are the daddies of all vehicles. Carl's Kips. Son says you watching videos on plastering, Dad. We're just there. I like this. This is like my little gang of plastering nerds now, where we all just talk crap to each other about plastering all night, amongst other things. Oh, TRS F1 Racing. Didn't know you done live. Oh, Alfie Lander. Hey, yo, Kirk. How's it going, Alfie? The minute you comment, mate, it flashes up on my screen because you're one of the members, so it just bump it straight away there, mate. I'm spot on, thank you. Yeah, TRS F1 Racing. Yeah, I do lives quite a lot, mate. I'm usually on. I would have usually been on yesterday, but what happened yesterday? Can't think now. Anyway, there's a reason that I didn't go live yesterday. I usually go live Sundays about 8 o'clock. Used to be 7 o'clock, but I find that I'm always busy now because I've sort of designated it as my day when I go live. My wonderful wife and beautiful daughters always find things to get in the way of it. It's like, do you ever find that? Right. Tell me if this is just me. By the way, I love the bones of my missus. Like literally everything I do, all the work I do, I go, 6 days a week, grafting, everything is just to provide a nice life for my missus and kids. That's it. If it was, in fact, if it wasn't for my missus and kids, I'd probably be dead. I'd have probably drank myself to death. Just it's like my purpose of living is just to look after them. Right. So that said, now I've sort of said how much I love her and worship the ground she walks on and all the rest of it, right? Even though she can get a bit naggy sometimes. Is anyone else's missus like this? If I sort of say that I'm going to do something like let's just use this as a prime example. I'm going to go live on YouTube every Sunday at 7 o'clock. That's the time I'm going to just jump on a live and have a little chin wag, and people ask me questions about plastering that I don't get a chance to answer in the comments, and that's what I'm going to do. I've said that, and it's like my missus has like set out her whole life objective is to make sure that we are busy doing something else at 7 o'clock. Like, yes, that's what he wants to do that. So we're stopping that. 8 o'clock, maybe, but 7, no. It's like anything I want to do that's like for me, if it was going to work, if I said to her, I'm going to be up at, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, babe, and every morning I want to be in work at 5 o'clock. Yep, go and get the money. But if it's something I want to do, it's like, if I said I don't know, I want to start going swimming, or something like that. She, nope, that's when we go shopping. We've got to go to Marks and Spencer's or Asda or, Flipping nuts. I'm telling you, promise you, my missus has got something in her brain where she thinks she's got to work against me, enjoying myself. I'm telling you. That's a funny thing. I used to go to the pub all the time. One of my favourite things used to be like, I'd finish work and go straight for the pint. Now, any of yous that know me know, no, I haven't really had any alcohol since Christmas. So I haven't gone to the pub. So it's not really much of an issue. But when I did, the minute I walked into a pub, it didn't matter what time it was. If I went in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, had a little half day, finished the job early, or I went in at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock after a late job or whatever. But the minute I walked into the pub, I'd have about two sips at my pint, and my missus would phone me. And I'm thinking, this has happened for years. I'm thinking, has she got tracking devices on me or something? It's like she can sense when I'm enjoying myself. Oh, flipping nuts. Right, sorry, I've been off on a little tangent there, haven't I? Mensch, Kirk, but how do you generate work if it's not word of mouth? Social media, social media, and Google, mate. I've literally got a coaching group, sales and marketing coaching group, which you can click on. I'm not plugging it, I'm just telling you. In the description of my channel, there's a link there, and it takes you to all the different things that I do. And one of them is a sales and marketing course. And I've literally got over 100 fellas in a group, and I show them just what I do, nothing else, not trying to sell them anything. I just literally show them this is what I've done for the last, well, since 2008. 2008, I come off the building sites with a recession, and I had to either sink or swim. Was No one knew who I was. Me family name, because I come from a family of plasterers, was out there. But I'd always done building site work. I didn't want to work for the public, but they stopped building houses. So I had two choices. I could either get a different job and go and do something else, like loads of fellas did, or I could try and get work through the general public. Now, it just so happened there was a recession at the time, but it just so happens that the customers that I work for aren't really affected by recessions ultimately, you know. Um, so if you're working for people that are getting close to retirement age, they're basically like recession proof, it doesn't really make much of a difference to them if they're sort of getting to retirement age, they've got savings, they've got pensions kicking in, you know. Yeah, the food price might go up a little bit or something, but it doesn't really affect them once the mortgage and stuff's paid off. So even through recessions and stuff, doesn't matter if you target customer base of recession proof. Now, I tried doing flyers. That's how I got started, posting flyers through people's letterboxes. Like literally I was I used to take the missus out with me, and we go posting flyers. And then I started paying people to do it, and then I found out I was paying people not to post them because they were just going and throwing them in the bin. Little rascals! You get a load of young lads. I'm like, listen, I'll give you 20 quid. Go and post all them flyers down there, and then they'd come back get the 20 quid, and I'd go round. I'd know people that lived on the street and say, "You got one of my flyers?" No, where the hell are that? Didn't post any. Anyway, another thing I did to bring in work was I got a load of signs made about about so big like that, plastic corrugated signs, and I went round all of Ellesmere Port where I live and put them on all the traffic lights everywhere, and I used to call myself back then Johnstone Plastering Systems because I was trying to look like a big business, plastering systems, like I had like 10 fellas working for me, and it was just like three of us, two lads and me. um and I went and got all these signs made and designed, and then we spent ages putting them on. And I was telling the lads off because they were zip tying them on. And I'd say, put them on straight, you put them on like wonky. We're trying to show that we're perfectionists. They've got to be dead square and perfect. It took us about 3 days to put them all on. Anyway, about a week later, I got a phone call. Some fella from the council saying to me, you've been basically damaging our street furniture. And if you don't take all them signs down, we'll take them down and we'll fine you for it. So it took me like 3 days to put them all up and about an hour to take every single one of them back down again. So I've done that. Flyers, signs. Um, I've had a little square in a newspaper. I've paid to be in magazines. I've paid Google ads. I've done all sorts of things. But now, for the last, I found what worked for me. Scrap all that. Anything you're going to pay for, I don't like it. Literally, Facebook and Google. If you Google plasterers in Ellesmere Port, I'll pop up. I probably won't now because I've purposely not been trying to. There's ways and means that I show people how to push your ranking up so that when you type in plasterers in Ellesmere Port, I'll come out number one. But if you don't keep up with it, you go down, you start coming down, someone else will overtake you or whatever. And ultimately, I get too much work. So I don't really try and push it up. I don't really do much on Facebook. I don't actually want to try and generate more work. Like too much comes in as it is. And then being on YouTube doesn't help because people find you on here and then they get hold of you. I mean, there's no problem, but I'm just saying that happens. And I specifically didn't, when I made the channel, if you notice, I didn't say Kirk Johnstone the plasterer. I mean, I say it in the videos now because the cat's out of the bag, everyone knows who I am. But I literally didn't make the YouTube channel with the intention of generating work from it. It just, even if you try and stay incognito, they still find you. People zoom in on me van and get me number off me van and phone me up and stuff. There's no escaping it. But and then for any of you that don't know, in case you're thinking, why the hell are you just on YouTube then? If you don't want more work. I have a little boy. I've got 3 girls, 3 daughters. My eldest daughter's 21. We weren't planning on having any more kids. I'm 37. And my missus surprised me by telling me she was pregnant. So now I've got a little 19-month-old son. And this is why I made my YouTube channel. Because he come along and I thought to myself, by the time he's, grown up and decided what he wants to do in his life, because I don't necessarily want to push him into plastering. By the time he's decided what he wants to do, whatever that may be, he's going to train and go and do that. And then I would like him to learn plastering just so he's got another feather in his cap. And I thought chances are I might be a little bit old. There's certain jobs in plastering that you don't come across very often. You might not come across. Like I literally hardly ever get asked to do pebble dashing anymore. I used to do tons of it, and now I literally don't. In fact, the only rendering jobs I ever seem to get asked to do now is like monocouche render. There's no. A load of lads do silicon thin coat renders down south. There's hardly any of that near me. Everybody asks me, and they don't call it monocouche either. Where I live, everyone, I want K rend. I want K rend. Can you do K rend? I'm like, yeah. How much flipping K rend do I have to do? So the chances of me ever being able to show my son how to pebble dash probably never ever work together on a pebble dashing job in the future. So the plan was I'll make videos and I don't ever want to lose them because that's happened in the past. We've had loads of photos gone missing. You give them to people to put on DVDs, they all went. Upload them onto online. It's like putting it on the cloud, isn't it? It's online. It won't get deleted on YouTube unless people come back from the future and censor me for saying things that I'm probably not allowed to say in the future. I don't know. I mean, channel gets closed, but then all these videos will be stored online for him in the future. So I started making little plastering lessons for my son for the future. That's how I ended up on YouTube. But then I noticed the comment section. I've never read comments on YouTube videos before I had my own channel. I just wasn't interested. I just watched the video. And now I've realized there's a whole other little world to YouTube going on in the comments section. And that's when I started seeing comments coming on, people asking me things. And then I started making videos just to then, guys. And here we are today. Yeah. After a few more little things with monetization and stuff, me realizing that YouTube were making money out of me and I wasn't getting my cut. So then I've wanted to get my cut. And then blah, 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 blah. Here we are. But people think, here's the mad thing, people go on at me, oh, you think you're great, do you? You think you're a good, the trolls when they come after you. You think you're all that, flipping, putting yourself on. I'm like, look, I'm not on YouTube because I think I'm anything special. I'm just a regular bloke. I just go to work. I just made a few videos for my son and I've ended up here. And now I've got these little bastards attacking me. I'm thinking, You want it, do you? Come and see me in person, mate. I'll flipping splat you. Flipping giving it all that on your little keyboard. You wouldn't believe some of the flipping troll messages I get. I just have to just I've got to, for my own sanity, just block and delete them because otherwise they start getting inside your head. You know, you think, flipping beat it. Whereas I'll start trying to find out where you live, mate, and then you'll flipping know about it. Mm. Anyway, by the way, this this green snot that I'm drinking is it's a greens powder by AG1. They asked me to do a sponsored integration in one of my videos, and they sent me all the stuff. But anyway, I've done the sponsored thing, and I'm not plugging them. I just literally I like the stuff, so they sent me a load of it, so I just keep drinking it. It's all vitamins and minerals, so it makes me feel healthy drinking it, even though I've just had a pizza. That's my logic for you. Ah. Anyway, so now you know the story. Now, in case you weren't up to speed with how I ended up on here, now you know. Um, let's have a look. I've missed a few. Right, Zazzy. I planned overtime, but Fridays are shopping days. Yeah, flipping. I must admit, I take no part in the shopping, literal food shopping and all that. No, I won't go. I'm a bit of a my missus calls me a bit of a chauvinist, and I love the bones of it, and I look after her and all that. But I literally said to my missus, "This is the deal, right? I will go to work and provide for you. You won't have to do a tap. You don't have to do any work. I'll provide for you and protect you." And I've kept my end of the deal. Like um, all my missus, all I expect from her is to make nice food and keep the house fairly clean and tidy and look after the kids. Now she literally has quite a nice life. She has horses. She goes and does whatever she wants whenever she wants. She moans and nags the life out of me, but certain things like food shopping and all that, nah, that's your department. You do that. Here's the money. Off you go. Um, Daniel Moore, she's got spotters in the pub, mate. You're 100% correct. I know she has in different pubs. Don't forget, I don't know if you know or not, but I met my missus because she used to be a barmaid. She used to be a barmaid actually in one of the roughest boozes in Ellesmere Port, the Knot. If you ever ventured to Ellesmere Port, you'll know the Knot was literally one of it was a well, anything went in that pub. Anything went. When I first started going there, I'm not into smoking weed. It's not my scene at all. Doesn't I've tried it, it's not my scene. Doesn't makes me very quiet and paranoid. But there would be lads sat at the when you could smoke in the pubs, they'd skin up at the bar. You know, there'd be lads skinning up and smoke a spliff at the bar. That was the type of pub that we're talking about. And she used to be a barmaid in there. And she forgets this, my missus, you know, because now she's sort of like, now we've grown up a little bit. She's quite prim and proper, you know. And I have to say to her, don't forget where I met you. You know, when she's telling me, because we're out with her mates, and she's sort of saying to me, you know, shh, behave yourself, you know, don't say that, don't say this. I'm like, babe, I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. You know, don't forget where you come from as well. I'm like dragging her back down again, you know. Ah. Right, Alfie Lander, when about is the next video coming, mate? Alfie, the reason I'm in the workshop now, the reason I'm in my little office now is because I'm literally uploading footage from my phone to my laptop so I can start editing. Editing takes me about for a 20-minute video takes me about 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours. So I'm off work tomorrow because we're going to a funeral at 2 o'clock. Nikki's uncle passed away. So I'll have a good bash tomorrow morning. And then maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I think. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I've had quite a few things going on with different things that I've had to yeah, sponsorships and stuff like that I'm sort of working on. So I don't know. It'll all figure out. Couple of days time, mate. Give me a couple of days. CJ, Evening Kirk, Stephen Clark. What do you do if a customer is not happy with the job, even though you know it is perfect? I would just ask them specifically what it is that they don't like. I mean, if I'm looking at perfection, and they're looking at the same thing, then they should see perfection as well. So if they can find a fault with it, then I would just fix the fault, mate. Um, you do get customers every now and then, they're very, very few and far between, that literally it's not the found faults of your work, they're just trying to find a way to get out of paying you, and they're the problem. But most customers just want a good job and they're happy to pay for you when they've got a good job. So I would just keep going until they were satisfied with the work. Um, but if I got a sense that they were just trying to cause problems so that they didn't have to pay me, then you want to go down, other routes of dealing with them. But all depends on the circumstances then, doesn't it? Which route you go down, So depending on what type of person you're dealing with, depends on which route you go down. For instance, shouldn't keep going on about these people because this could come back to haunt me in the future. When, like, it's racist to say things like that. But I've done jobs for people in the traveling community, and all I'll say to you is them fellas are a game on. So, you going along and sending them a solicitor's letter, they'll just laugh at you. They'll use that as toilet paper, quite literally, like they're not asked. So sending mean letters and emails and stuff wouldn't work with the traveling community. You'd have to take a different approach. You know what I'm trying to say? There's different ways of dealing with different people. Whereas someone maybe that's got an office job in the corporate world, then going down the legal route with them would probably work. You know, 90% of people that'll work. But the people trying to wriggle out of paying you are literally, I mean, not even 1%. I've literally come across in my whole working career about 4 people like that, that are just like, they're just bad people, They just want the customers that are trying to rip you off. You can normally sense them though. You normally get, I think after a while, you become quite a good judge of character and you get a feeling for someone like that, when you're pricing the job up. If all they're doing is just slagging everyone off about everything, I'm just like, oh, you, I'm not getting happy vibes from you at all. Like, I'm a bit busy at the minute. Like, I think I'll try me again in a couple of months. Might quieten down. Oh, but yeah, sorry. Scossie07 says, "Stand your ground, Stephen Clark." Yeah, I agree with him, mate. Never, never, ever give in. I never walk away from money. I've never, ever, customers never, ever not paid me. I've always got paid, or had to deal with it one way or another. So, so don't want to go into too much about it. Yeah, never give in now. You take your payment one way or another. Um, Right, Aki, hi Kirk. What type of plasterer do you think has the worst reputation? A social housing plasterer, a domestic plasterer, or a site plasterer? So I wouldn't separate social housing plasterers into their own little category. In my opinion, you've got site lads and you've got domestic lads. In my opinion, and there's good and bad in both of them. It's like two different worlds ultimately, but I do know what you mean. I would so in my experience, the lads that end up doing social housing plastering for like contracts are usually fellas that want to do domestic work, but potentially don't get enough domestic work at the moment, so they end up doing social housing, which, it depends how you go about putting yourself out to the public, on how much work you get. Tell you another interesting thing as well, which I know for a fact. Doesn't matter how good of a plasterer you are, it's not about how good you are at plastering that ultimately brings in the most work when it comes to the people. It's more to do with whether people can find you, like you, and feel comfortable with you. All those things seem to be, they're not more important, but that's how the work ends up being generated through the public. It's like I say this to lads in the sales and marketing group. You could have 10 fantastic plasterers, and I mean top of the range, I've got mates that work on the building sites, and they are top quality plasterers. I know if I have any of the lads that I know off the building sites come and do a job for me, I know it'll be perfect. There won't be any plaster left anywhere. The job will be immaculate. The walls, everything will be absolutely spot on. But they work on site because they don't want to deal with the public. They just have, they want to just turn up. They want to be able to swear, do whatever they want, play the music what they want, fart, flipping, just just basically just do what they want as long as the job gets done. But they're fantastic at plastering. But then if you put those out to the public and said, okay, there's these fellas, you could have someone that's basically useless at plastering, but it's got all the talk, all the patter, and you'll get all the work. Just whether people like you or not, Because you got to remember, it's not just doing the plastering job. These people are letting you in their home, and if they don't like you, they won't have you in there. So, Jeff Jones, evening chaps. How are we, mate? Uh, where do you reckon the phrase "getting plastic" comes from? It's washing the dust down, aren't they? Um, AJ Bubs, yeah, the knot was like a stuntman's knee. I've skipped a few comments here. Evening, Kurt. GG is fine. Okay, I'm glad you've said that, mate. GG. I'll remember that now. Uh, where's Brian's question? Oh, so yeah, to finish off, worst reputation. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, and I shouldn't say this when you're talking about who's got the worst reputation, domestic, um, social housing or site plastering. If I was stuck on a job and let's just use a for instance, if I was absolutely desperate on a job and I was stuck trying to get another plasterer to come and help me do something, say I've broke my arm and I need someone to jump in, and I had three fellas. If I had three guys that I'd never met before, I didn't know who they were and nothing about them, and one was a site lad, one was a domestic lad, and one was a social housing lad, I would probably, if I wanted them to come and finish a job off of me, I'd say, send me the domestic lad first. Send me that lad. Second choice would be the site lad, and third choice would be the social housing lad. But that it's just because now there's always exceptions to the rule, but it just seems the domestic lad is going to be probably better to deal with the customer because that's 50% of the job when you're doing domestic work is doing the job, but also being able to deal with the customers quite well. The site lad, I know he's going to do neat work, or hopefully he's going to do neat work. The domestic lad, I always seem to feel like they're doing that sort of work because they haven't quite made it on the domestic scene. But there's always exceptions to the rule. I do know a top of the range plasterer that does um, social housing, and he does it just because he does no stress. It's not graft like on building sites, and he hasn't also got to deal with the customers, and he just wants some pocket money because he doesn't need money that much anymore. Just wants beer money and what have you. So there's always exceptions to that. So I'm not trying to tar everyone with the same brush there. Uh, Nomad Scouser, good evening, Kirk. Glad I caught you, mate. Would you use SBR as a stabilizer for painting masonry? Thank you. Ah, mate, Nomad, I don't know, mate. Listen, I know about plastering, and I only know what I do. There's 20 ways to skin a cat, but one thing I never entertain is the painting. So the only thing I've ever used to stabilize backgrounds for plastering is stabilizing solution. So I just go with that, mate. But um, Jamie Jamie Walton, cheers, mate. Going good. Jamie Kirk, I know you don't need to key bonding, but do you mean you don't need to key hard wall? Right, so when it comes to gypsum based plasters, what you'll find is that they will stick to each other. Sand cement needs keying. Now, it is possible to hard wall is a lot easier to float up with devil float than what bonding coat is. But if you read the back of a bag of bonding, it specifically says that it's just a nice wet trowel as it's setting is enough. Hard wall, look, I've used hard wall and I've keyed it and I haven't keyed it, and both have been fine. So I haven't done tons and tons and tons of hardwall, though most of the jobs I've done are dry lined. I've maybe knocked out in total about 3 or 4 houses done with hardwall. So, I mean, if I had the chance to solid plaster something, I'm going with sand and cement. I'm not using bonding to float walls because it's horrible to work with for rubbing up anyway, and it's too expensive. The same with hardwall; it's too expensive and it's very soft. If I'm solid plastering, I'm using sand and cement as a background. I literally just, I mean, it's cheaper. But you can get I can literally wipe out the downstairs of someone's house, and the material is going to cost me about 100 quid in sand and cement. If you go with hardwall, you can like flipping times that by 8 or something, can't you? So, um, Brian Costello, how do you stay organised with your diary when you view a job and get it? Do you decide a date with the customer there and then and book them in? Yeah. So I'll tell you my whole system is very simple indeed. To be fair, I'll get a phone call from a customer. That's the first point. They'll ring me up, and I will just ask them whatever they're doing. There doesn't matter what I'm doing. I will just say to them, "Can you please send me a text message with your name and address and a brief description of the job?" Right. I look forward to your message. As soon as I get your message, when I get home, I'll book you in for a quote, and then gone off the phone. Now that weeds out all the time wasters because people that are just can't be bothered even texting you, they're just looking for a price. Then you don't end up having to go and waste your time with them. Then I'll get all the text messages and I'll sit down in here. My diary isn't in here now, must be in the van. And I'll literally book them in for quotes, like one or two a night on a first come, first served basis. And I'll text them back and say, I'll pop out and see you between, 5 and 7 on such and such a date. I'll go and see them. I'll price the job up there and then because I'm all about trying to be efficient. I haven't got time to, oh, I'll text you back next week. And it'll just get confusing the amount of work you end up looking at. So I'll go and see them. I'll price the job there and then in front of them. It doesn't matter how big the job is. I can literally, it's not complicated. If you can count how many bags of plaster it takes in a room, if you can count the plasterboards and you know how long it's going to take you, you can work your price out pretty much there and then, can't you? So I'll price the job up there and then. And then if they're happy with the price, then I'll literally book them in on a first come, first served basis into the diary. If they can't wait, well, tough, they'll have to get somebody else. Um, Usually they'll just wait to whatever date it needs to be. But another thing I do when I start going like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of my diary, like when you're getting like 2 or 3 months booked up, say you're in month two, I will only book in 3 or 4 days a week. I'll leave like Thursday and Friday. I'll book in like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then somebody else wants a job, and then I'll book them in for the week after. I'll start leaving spaces in the diary, and then when little things come in that are a bit more urgent or things change, because things change all the time. You'll turn up to a job, and they're having a brand new kitchen put in, and the kitchen fitter has gone over a day, or he hasn't ripped the kitchen out on time, so you can't. So I always leave little spaces. I never have a day off, but those little spaces always get ate up by doing something. So that's something that took me a while to learn that though, because I used to just book the diary up 6, 7 days a week, solid, solid, solid. And if one thing goes wrong, that's it. The whole thing goes sideways. Wait there a second. You okay, chicken? You going to bed? Sorry, Isabel. It's late. It's only 12. Go on then. See you in the morning. Hi, chicken. All right, Charlie. Say hello in the comments, Charlie. Go on, sweetheart. I love you. I'll see you later. Andrew Taylor. Oh yeah, we've done that. Brian's question. Yeah, Eric, say Kirk, when you're skimming over Artex and just doing the ceiling, do you scrim all the angles where the ceiling hits the wall? Love the channel. No, I usually don't. If they're not cracked, then no. If there's cracks appearing, then I'll rescrew the ceiling where it is and scrim it. But otherwise, no. Ethan H. I'm wanting you to get into plastering, but don't I'm wanting to get into plastering, but don't know where to start. Just been made redundant from scaffolding, so looking for a change. Um, it didn't mean the you. I got that, Ethan. Don't worry. I'm quite fast at reading. Ethan, if you've done scaffolding, then you'll have already had experience on building sites, no doubt. You'll already have a CSCS card. You'll already have high vis and boots. No doubt you've got all that kit because you've already done it. Here's how you get into plastering, mate. Go to a building site, turn up on site, find the best team of plasterers on the site, and offer your services. Say, I want to help you, and offer to work for free. Guys, I know it sounds counterproductive, and people always say to me, that's bad advice. But listen, from a plasterer's point of view, I don't need anybody else to pay now. That's all it is. Somebody comes with me now, it's just somebody else that I've got to pay. Because when you start plastering, when you start out with someone, I know it sounds harsh, but you are just an expense. You aren't helping really. Whatever you're doing, like bringing buckets of water or mixing plaster, I can do it myself. I don't literally need anyone to do it. I could do that all that part of it myself and keep your wage in my pocket. So when you turn up to work for someone, you're literally just costing them money. And when you say to them, "Can I have a job?" You're asking them to commit to saying, "Yes, I will give you money," even though you might be useless. You might literally wreck everything, make a mess, and I've still got to pay you. And I've said I'm going to keep you because I've given you the job. So the easiest way to give the plasterers confidence that you are going to be an asset to them is to turn up and say, look, I will work for you for a day or two, absolutely free. See if you like me, see if I'm a good fit with you. Work hard, do everything they say to you. Don't think you know better. You know, if they ask you to do something a specific way, they won't explain to you every single reason why they've asked you to do it that way, but trust their experience that there's a reason that they've told you to do it a specific way. Just go with it. They're the guys that are teaching you. Any decent fellow will pay you for your time. Any decent fellow at the end of the week will say, listen, I'm going to have you work for nothing, mate. There's the money. You did well on those 2 days. That no decent fella's gonna have you work for nothing, mate. And if they do have you work for free for them 2 days, right? Well, then you've had a lucky escape leaving, haven't you? Because if they're that bad that they wouldn't even give you a couple of quid for helping out, then you've done well to get away from them. And as well, there's another way of thinking about it. Offering your time for free is still cheaper than paying for the course somewhere else. And when you're on a course, you're not going to get one-to-one real life tuition like what you are when you're working with someone actually on a job doing something. So that's what I'd say. Go to a building site. There's always there's always a need for an extra pair of hands on a building site. There's always boards to get in. There's always water. There's bags. There's always clean. There's always stuff to do. Domestic work is a bit slower paced, so it's a little bit difficult to break into the domestic gang as opposed to if I'm on building sites, I'll quite happily give someone a chance a lot easier than what I will whilst I'm doing domestic work. Nice. There you go. I think I've explained that a few times now. I'm getting better at explaining this, I think. So hope that makes sense to you, mate. The Wandering Mason AG1 plus hemp protein and cranberry juice. Yes, sounds good. Um, where are we going down here now? Um, the drinker is that AG1 um, any good at helping to lose weight? I'm actually getting fatter, mate. So I couldn't say. I mean, I'm having this to supplement my unhealthy diet, because I'm eating crap and I'm just topping the vitamins and minerals up. So maybe if you just drank that and ate healthy, it probably would. But Don Barras, what sort of qualifications is necessary for you to start on your own? Plastering, mate, ultimately, the crazy thing, you don't need any qualifications. You don't need to be qualified to go and work as a plasterer as such. If you want to get on the building sites and you need a CSCS card and you want it to say plasterer on it, then potentially you will need a qualification. But when you turn up at someone's home, little Mrs. Jones has never stopped me and said, Kirk, before I let you continue with your job, I want to see your qualifications. That's literally it. It's not really like electrics and gas and stuff where you've got to be certified. You know, it's sort of not going to say it like 'cause it sounds bad, like you know, but you can just basically do whatever you want as long as the customer's happy that you've done a nice job, then it's a nice job, you know. Um, Although that doesn't sound great for the trade, does it? But that's just the truth. Um, Ahmed, would you do a job in West Yorkshire, mate? It's a little bit out my way, to be honest with you. I try and stay within about 20 minutes of where I live. Um, bec I don't like traveling. It drains me for the start. Now, when you sort of when you're young and new to the game, you've got to go wherever the work is. I'm got to go and get it. You know, when I was getting married, when I was like 23, I was working in Buckinghamshire. I was doing wherever the work was, whoever paid me the most, whatever it was, I'd just go and get it. Now I could go and earn probably decent money working in different places, but I sort of earn enough that keeps me quite content and quite a nice lifestyle on my doorstep. So I just rather stay around here, to be honest with you, mate. You know, um, I'm sorry. I mean, if you move closer to me, would you ever consider living closer to Ellesmere Port? I'll do your job for you. Anthony Herbert, Kirk, what is the longest distance you travelled to do a job? Um, we got flown out to Switzerland. That's the furthest I've ever gone to plaster. That was since YouTube. That's a fella that was on the channel was watching me do stuff because he wanted to do it at his place, and then we got chatting, and then we just thought it'd be a good idea if I did the plastering rather than him. So he flew us out to Switzerland. So I don't know how far away Switzerland is. It's quite far. But other than that, I've done jobs pretty much all over the country. To be fair, but as I said to you, I don't. I've got a young family. I don't want to be away from home. You know, it's like it's. I, when I go in, right, even though they're all asleep, I'll literally just pop my head in the 21-year-old's room. Or Chloe's like, nice sweetheart. She's usually awake. Doesn't matter what time you go in her room. She's like a flipping vampire. She's just awake. So I say goodnight to her. The two younger girls, there's a 15 and a 12. I go and kiss them on their heads. Nice sweetheart, you know. And then the little lad, he's 18 months. He's still in between me and the missus. He's in the big bed, you know. He's between us, and he wriggles around, puts his feet on my head. I don't want to miss that. I don't want to be away from that. I don't want to be a single night away from my kids. So I try and just stay local. That said, if there was no work, if there was no work locally, you know, I've got to feed the family. So I would literally go wherever the work was then. But it hasn't been like that for a long time, to be honest with you. John Slattery, 99% love you, mate. Yeah, keep that 1% for your missus, mate. uh, MC Shopper Centre, Neil. Cut my teeth doing social housing stuff. It does prepare you for dealing with the householders, even if they're not the ones paying you. Do you know what, mate? You're 100% spot on. I haven't really done social housing plastering in a full sort of time capacity. I've worked for landlords that have got, you know, tenants, so that's similar. And I've worked in bed sits, so it's similar, but I've never really been like on a social housing contract, you know. Um, but you know, I've meet some different people, don't you? And they have different ways of living, you know. It's interesting. Interesting. That's the good thing about my job. Some of the people you end up working for, it's interesting. I'll give you the mad example. I've worked for little old Irish couples, you know, little old widows. I've worked for young single mums, you know, helping them out because they're trying to do the best for the camp for the little kiddies. The majority of my customers are like my parents' generation, like you know, sort of like 60s. That's my sort of my customer base that I want to really work for. People in like the 50s and 60s, you know, they're a bit less hassle. Find the younger generations can be a little bit more hassle to work for. Cancelling your last minute, changing plans, you know, flipping all this and what's interesting is I've worked for young couples, you know, and in the 20s and what have you, and you turn up and the whole room's still furnished. Everything, they haven't done a tap, they haven't moved a single thing, and there's still wallpaper on. and in places, and you're like, you just walk, you've missed a bit of walk. Oh, oh, we thought you'd get that. And for me, it's like a bit of a lack of respect, you know. But then I've worked for little old couples, like little old dears in like a 60s, 70s, sorry, 60s, like a late 70s. And she's been in there, moved on her own, moved double wardrobes, folded the carpet back and all sorts. You just think generations, they're just different. They're just built different. That generation now is just they just will never come around again. Um I can't even think where I was going with that now. But anyway, Supercharged G60, evening Captain Kirk, welcome back. Cheers, my mate. Danny Moore, have you ever worked on a grade one listed building? Yes. And do you know what was mad? Everyone that was working on there was complaining and moaning about it because they had to work to specifications and use, original products and lime and stuff, and they didn't like it. They were all dragging it. Oh, he said we've got to do this, and the heritage guys said we've got to do this and use this. I loved it. I was like, this is great. Now we get to practice with this stuff instead. I was made up to be doing it. Pub Friday, John Slattery, you're spot on. Uh, so we just skip down a few there. Alfilandro, what's your thoughts on sponge float to finish? I've been toying with the idea, but I've heard a lot of stick about it. Alfie, if you were a beginner, if you were a one-off shot at plastering, I could tell you the method where you could use a sponge float and you'd get a nice job. Now, sponging your plaster will cause the finish of the plaster to be slightly weaker. Really make that much of a difference, unless you're not killing it with the sponge, and because you end up bringing the fat of the plaster up. Now, the fat of the plaster off the first wet trowel still will set to an extent. The second wet trowel, it's getting very dilute. There's not much setting action in that fat. It's just going to be dust when you rub it, really. So, depending on when you sponge it. Now, if you were just going to plaster your bedroom walls or something, and that was it, you were never going to do it ever again, just a DIY job, I could tell you a system of sponging that you would get a fairly good job. If, however, you wanted to work as a plasterer full time, then I would not recommend using the sponge float because it adds in a lot more work and a lot more cleaning up a mess. So it's better to learn without it, if that makes sense, because you're adding more work to it. And then as you get better at plastering, then you've got to unlearn that it's just makes sense to learn the proper way. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, like for me, the sponge, I would not bother using a sponge float because I'm too lazy to do it. It's like it's a whole extra thing that I've got to do that doesn't need to be done if you get good at plastering. AJ Bubs, that gypsum thirst. You're not wrong, mate. Liverpool School of Plastering. I don't know what's happened here, mate. So if you could please tell me, Liverpool School of Plastering, my old mate, let me know what's happened because I've got your thing here. It says on the screen, Liverpool School of Plastering, message retracted. Now, I don't know if that means that YouTube's deleted your message because you've said a swear word in it or something, or if you've retracted it. So could you please just write in the comments whether you've took it off or whether YouTube has, just so I know what's happening because it doesn't tell me where that message has gone. Um, Ruben65, hey Kirk, I've got a big ceiling to do. Come up and you can do a video. Stay in the country and I'll pay in food and beer. Yeah, sounds good, mate. Sounds good. Is it food for me whole family or just me though? Because I'm not kidding you. I'm being genuinely honest with you now, right? This isn't a joke. I've got 4 children and a wife. We've got 6 horses, 3 cats, and 2 dogs. So if you're offering to feed everyone, then we could do a deal. um, John Slattery, I'm taking all your comments in, but realising I'm 64 and food. Fair play, mate. Chicken wants a cocktail. Paul Murphy, how you doing, Paul? Ba, ba, ba. Too much info, sir. Evening, sir. Just joined. Did I miss any update on the bathroom project? Shh. Shh. Forget the bathroom for now. I've been busy. I haven't even had time to think about it. We've got facilities. We've got a downstairs loo. We've got an upstairs temporary loo. We've got a shower in the workshop. We've got a kitchen sink. The little fella now, I mean, he's going to grow up thinking that he just has a wash in the kitchen sink. He's only 18 months old. And whenever my missus goes to do the dishes and she turns the tap on, he strips off. He thinks he's getting in. So I am a bad husband, aren't I? But let's not talk about the bathroom for a minute. Everything's fine, and I've got the motive. Everything's good to go. I've got the motivation. We've got all the stuff to do it. It's just I've been busy with work, and the odd day off and bit of time that I've had. I'm just like, oh, I tell you what it is. I've done everything up until the point now. It just needs plastering. But the plastering bit is the bit that I enjoy the least because it's like my day job. I do it every single day. The last thing I want to do is on my day off start plastering. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather come in here and talk about plastering, you know. um, True story, your work will speak for itself. Yeah, spot on. Um, just disappointed. What's the difference between the spring steel and the carbon steel Marshalltown trowels? Hmm. In my, I could be wrong. Now, I'm not a metal expert. I could be wrong on this, but in my opinion, they are just two of the same thing. In my opinion, you've got stainless steel or carbon steel. Now, I call them carbon steel, but ultimately I have seen them advertised as spring steel. I don't think there's any difference between those two things. I think it's just terms that people use, mate. But I don't know. I'm not I don't study metal. I don't even know what a geologist studies rocks. I don't even know what someone that flipping studies metal's called. But I think that there's two of the same thing, mate. Family first, priceless. Seeing them growing up. Yeah, spot on. School plastering. How are you, mate? Anyway, I'm glad you've jumped on. Nice to see your comments. CJ, Matt Richards, I've been offered so much work away for really good money, but I'm the same as you, mate. I'd rather be on minimum wage and spend time with my kids. I can always earn money in the future. That's it. I mean, here's the way I think of it. Right, when I go to work, right, this is what I've said this a few times because I've had quite a few people offer me to work away, and I will go. I'm not saying I won't. If it's, I will go and work away if it's like a little adventure. So I don't need to think I'm like, I'm two-faced on this matter. If it sounds like something I'd enjoy doing for maybe a week or 2 weeks for a one-off, then I'd consider it. If you said to me, I've got a flipping villa in Greece, or I've got a castle in Scotland, or something just different, and it's interesting, then I'll probably go and do it. If it's going like to London to skim some bed sits out, I mean, I can do that around the corner. Here's my thinking on working away, right? And maybe there's a few lads that do work away that'll see this. Your time is worth more than the money, isn't it? Ultimately, because you can always get more money, but you can't get more time. So when you go to work, you are literally selling little portions of your life, swapping it for little tokens, basically. You're never going to get that time back. Now, when you go and work away, I say to people, what's the rate? And they tell you, say, okay, yeah, times 24 hours. I'm like, well, no, times 8 hours. I say, well, if I'm working away, then I want paying that rate for 24 hours. I'm saying it having a laugh, but there is a bit of truth in it as well. Because I say to them, well, if I'm at work and you're paying me to be in work, then fair enough. If I'm working away and I'm at work, but then I've finished work and I'm in the hotel, I'm still at work, aren't I? Because if I'm not at home, where am I? If I'm not with my family, then I'm basically to them still in work. I mean, so for me, it just doesn't add up, because they say, "Oh, well, you're getting paid this." Well, I'm not at home, am I? I'm not chilling with my family. I can't take the missus for a meal. I can't take the kids to the park. So I'm basically still in work. I might not be physically working, but I'm still in work. So are you going to pay me for that time or not? Because otherwise, it just doesn't add up the amount. What the oh, we'll pay you this. It's a good rate, but really, when you break it down over 24 hours, it's a crap rate. So just my just my little 2p's worth on it. Uh, where have we gone here now? FP 6 horses, 3 cats and a dog. Open. Oh no, sorry, 2 dogs, mate. We've got a Springer Spaniel and a Jack Russell. Open a zoo. Forget the plot. Well, here's the mad thing. Here's the mad thing. My missus does pony parties, so she brings the zoo to you. She basically comes to your house. Say like your daughter or your niece or whatever has a little birthday party. My missus will bring 2 or 3 ponies to your house to give rides to all the kids at the party. So yeah, we've sort already onto that one, mate. Uh, Liverpool school classes, sink baths, poor little fella. Mate, do you know what though? That's how I was brought up. I remember having a sink bath. I remember being in the sink, in my mum and dad's house, and I remember being embarrassed because my mum was standing me up. I don't know how old I was, but I must have been old enough to realise that they had nothing on, and next door could see me. Uh, uh, Ruben 65, I'm in the Highlands, so the animals can fend for themselves. Yeah. Well, the thing is, mate, I always think as well, if you keep this many animals, like, if you never know how hard times will get, imagine how long you could, how much meat you could get off a horse. I could be flipping eating forever, couldn't I? If my missus ever heard me saying that, I'd be getting moved out. Gigi, is there an ideal mix for sand and cement for internal walls, partition walls, and the inside of the exterior walls, please? Um, an ideal mix. Ultimately, you want to look at what you're going over, but I would say a good 90% of the internal backgrounds that you might be going over, brick, block, what have you, 4 to 1. 4 to 1 mix is going to be fine. Now they say you should get progressively weaker with the next coats, but I've for years I've used a 4 to 1 mix, scratch coat and a 4 to 1 mix top coat. I mean, yeah, would 5 to 1 be better? Probably, maybe. I don't know. I've never had any comebacks, and ultimately, the lad can't get it wrong because we have everything set out. See, the thing is, when you're training your apprentice to mix your plaster, there's only you've got to say to him like 4 buckets of sand and 1 bucket of cement, and so many cupfuls of waterproofing, and so much. If you change one thing, like he's like Rain Man. His brain could explode, because you're saying to him now, put an extra sand in for this. So just easy, just to keep it simple. 4 to 1 is sound, I would say, for most things. Um, Callum, message retracted. Don't know where. I don't know if you've took it away, Callum, or if YouTube has, but I'll be interested to know what you said. Riff Raff Biff. You just passed my 2 comments. Sorry, do you know what happens, Riff Raff? When I scroll down the comments, because there's so many come in, and I scroll, it skips straight to the bottom, and then I've got to try and go back up and start reading through them again, try and find where I'm up to. And I'm conscious that I'm looking for the comments, but there's a few people watching me, and if I'm there, like, because I'm a bit dozy looking in the face when I'm trying to figure out where I'm up to. So I do apologise, mate. I'm not intentionally missing you out. Will Manhunt just started plastering. My problem is I concentrate too much on the first coat to try to get it perfect, and then the gear goes off too soon for me. It's just practice, mate. It is just practice. You're probably not doing a bad thing by trying to get it perfect, but as long as there's no big lines and no hollows, then just continue on. Don't be going back on yourself. But ultimately, it's just practice. Pay attention to how you're laying on as well. Don't be overlapping. Don't be going forwards and backwards with your trowel. If you're right-handed, start at the left and work across the wall to the right. Um, Overlapping. As little as possible. If your trowel's sort of overlapping, I'll show you now. Look at this old stainless. That was a Nella. Remember when Nella's, I don't know how many plasterers that have been plastering for a long time are on here, but remember when Nella's first came out, Ryan Hill from the Plasterers One Stop Shop, and they had Nella Superflex. Well, I got the stainless steel 16 inch as well. Anyway, when you're putting your trowel on, you want to be overlapping, so you put like a trowel's worth of stuff down the wall, and then there you want to overlap. Only about that far. If you're overlapping to here, like you're going boom, 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 then you're wasting loads of energy. So you want to be like, does that make sense? Well, bedtime for me. Riff Raff is off to bed. Take it easy, my mate. Um, Riff Raff Biff. Good night, good bless. Liverpool School Plastering will try extra time and second coat with 20 mins and stop playing with it. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with all these retracted messages. There's flipping. Oh, MC Shopping Centre. I removed it. Okay, cool. uh, Liverpool School Plastering. I'm all good, Kirk. We'll definitely drop you a message soon. I've been waiting for it. Someone said to me, I can't think if it was on TikTok, but someone messaged me and said that they knew you. And I said, well, tell him. But he said, are you going to like a meet and greet at Liverpool School Plus? I said, yeah. I said, but I can't just turn up unannounced. I've got to be invited. I can't just rock up somewhere and expect them to let me in and make me a cup of coffee. So if you want me to pop in, mate, I'd love to come in and see a few of the lads. Spend a couple of hours with people that are learning and practicing and whatever you're doing there. Get stuck in. Be a pleasure to come and do it, mate. And obviously I wouldn't interfere. I'll just do what you're telling me to do. But it'd be good to come and see how everyone's getting on. Alfie Landra, the odd boring jobs ain't worth the travel, but it's the one in a lifetime rare opportunity to work on amazing buildings like historic restorations you want to work away for and be part of all. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Couldn't agree more. Callum, I just awoke to what you said about the trials, but it wouldn't make sense when you read it, so I removed it. Sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, so when these messages are attracted, it's people removing it. That's good to know. Um, Callum, been watching your vids and lives for a while now, mate. Just subscribed. Thank you very much, mate. Nice to have you on board as well. Oh, by the way, guys, just so you know, it if you subscribe to my channel, it doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free. Like if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I mean, you don't have to. I'm not trying to like beg for subscriptions, but it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't do anything, or it doesn't even really do anything for me. All it ultimately does for my channel, if you subscribe to my channel, it literally just gives my channel more social proof, so that anybody else that sees me goes, "Oh, look how many subscribers he got. This guy must be, a nice bloke." So if you subscribe, it actually makes me look a bit better. So I'd appreciate it if you did, but ultimately it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't really benefit me, but it's a nice thing to do. So if you consider it, give me a subscribe. Sound like one of those flipping YouTube idiots. Then I hit the like button and subscribe and turn the notification bell on. Fuck off. uh, Ivan Pricchio. Have I said that right? Is it Ivan or Iwan Pricchio? Pricchio. I'd love to know how to pronounce that, mate. So I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I'm assuming you potentially are Polish. If you are, Dzień dobry. Are you still breaking in trowels and selling them? Yes, but we got a little bit behind because a few people slipped through the net and bought trowels that weren't worn in yet. So I've been catching up with that and sending them off. I've literally got like two more to send out, and then I'm done. So then I've got another batch of trowels that should have been delivered today to the they've been delivered today, or they're getting delivered tomorrow. There'll be about another. I think I'm getting a delivery of I'm getting the delivery of 20 new carbon steel trowels, but I mean that's going to take me a long time to get them ready. So as they become ready, I'll be letting people know if anyone wants to buy one. So yes, I will. There's 20 coming. Um, yeah, that's where we're up to. But it's going to be a little while yet because it takes me. They don't break in overnight. I mean, anyone that's ever broke a trowel knows it takes a long time. And yeah, so I actually enjoy breaking them in, but it does take a while. Liverpool School of Plastering, you're welcome anytime, brother. Mate, I can't. I'd love to come up. Genuinely, I would love it. But please do just invite me and send me the address and let's have a chat on the phone and all that. You know how to get hold of me, don't you? Anyway, in the channel description, get me email. Just shoot me a thing over, and we'll have a little chat on the phone. But I'd love to come up and see the guys. Um, Alfie Lander, we need to see you on the Trade Legends podcast, mate. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds good. I wouldn't say I qualify as a legend, like so. But if you, Alfie, if you could get me on there, mate, then do it. I'm happy to go on. I'm not, camera shy. I don't mind going and meeting people and what have you. So if you can get me on something, then I'm all game on for it, Paul. Danny Forshaw, shout out from Liverpool. Spot on, Danny. If you shout loud enough, mate, I might be able to hear you. I'm only near Cheshire Oaks in Ellesmere Port. Anthony Herbert, Kirk, thoughts on taping and joining, and is it the way forward? People keep telling me personally, I don't think it's great thoughts. In my opinion, mate, it's sort of here's my opinion of it, and I'm not knocking any taping and jointers. It's takes less skill to do, in my opinion. Maybe there's some fantastic taping and jointers, and it takes them a long time to get as good as what they are. But filling a joint and sanding it down. I mean, can you do it on a hand cove ceiling? Can you tape and joint over an Artex? Can you what if it's a solid wall? There's I don't I wouldn't yeah, I don't know. I don't want to it's a different game, isn't it? It's not for me. It's not I've seen it done. I've had a little go at doing it. For the smaller jobs, I don't think it's worthwhile. For massive jobs, yeah. If you're doing like I don't know, shopping centers and flipping schools and corridors, and I could see the benefit. When I'm in a little house, when you're house bashing, I feel like I could skim a room just as fast as someone could give it 2 coats and then let it set and sand it down. I could be, skimmed in like 2.5 hours, throw the whole room on in one go, done. So, and when you've skimmed a room, the walls are harder, aren't they? They're solid, you know. Well, not solid, but do you know what I mean? A finished plaster wall is more durable than paper on plasterboard. So I would say it's a better job to have it plastered, but I don't know. Probably tapers and jointers would disagree with me. Um, Ivan Prichio, when was the last time you were on site? The last time I worked properly on a building site was in 2008. Good long time ago. I have done jobs similar to being on site, where we've done new builds for small developers, but it wasn't. I class being on site as somebody dictating to me, what the price per square meter is, and you having to work like a site plasterer. I've done smaller sites, like a little cul-de-sac of 6 houses, but we told them the price, and we didn't work like site plasterers. Took our time, um, and we charged for it. So although it's like site work, it wasn't the same sort of. There wasn't a whip to your back to get things done. Site plastering, price per square meter. When you're working, when you're skimming for like £2.50 a meter, you've got to go like a flipping lunatic. That, in my mind, is site plastering. And I don't know what the prices are now. Maybe it's 2.70, maybe it's £3 a meter. I don't know. I'll tell you this though. I'd never go back and do it. I'll never ever go and work for flipping. I would rather if I can go and skim a living room ceiling for 500 or 600 quid. Why would I want to go and skim like the downstairs of a house for 500 or 600 quid? That's my thinking on it. But then I've got mates that work on site, and they say we can earn our money here. We can do whatever we want. And we haven't got to move a couch and put up with Mrs. Jones and the flipping the dogs ran off, and you've got to go and price the job, and you've got to go and there's pros and cons with both. For me, site work, I just feel like you're doing a lot of hard graft to make somebody else rich, you know? Um, Carlo Capo, you done a short video a couple of weeks ago on Bullnose Corners. You said you was doing 3 things wrong. What were they? Carlo, do you know what I was doing, mate? That was on TikTok, wasn't it? I don't know if I put it on YouTube as well. I'll tell you exactly what I was doing. Shh, don't tell no one. I was getting views, mate. I was getting views. I was making little viral videos because you say that I'm doing 3 things wrong, and then people study it. What is he doing wrong? And the algorithm picks it up. I mean, I'm guilty. I hold my hands up. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of clickbait short, you know. And if you watch my videos, you know I try and cram as much information in as possible. So I don't clickbait people and trick them into watching me. But every now and then it's just nice to see if you can beat the algorithm on YouTube or TikTok, you know? So, right, what the heck has gone on here now? Right, Liverpool School of Plastering. I don't know what you've just done. I don't know. I don't know what's happened here. You've just gifted 5 memberships. I don't even know how. Thank you very much. That's great. I don't know how that works. So I don't know. I don't know if they've got to pay or you've paid for them or I don't know what's happened, but thank you very much, mate. I mean, by the way, if you want to become a member to my channel, it's like I think it's 1.99 a month. It was the cheapest I could set it at. And what we do is what I do is for that £1.99, I'm going to start doing lots of little just sort of like daily life behind the scenes sort of videos. And also, whenever I edit a video before I upload it, it always goes live for the members first. So the minute it's edited, the members will be able to see the video straight away as soon as it's uploaded to YouTube. But I potentially won't release it until a certain day at a certain time because once you start getting into the algorithm game with YouTube, you be basically if your video doesn't perform well, YouTube won't show it to many people. So if I release a video at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've done this. I've tested it. Right. If I release a video at 3 o'clock in the morning when no one's awake watching, then I will get hardly any views, which then means that YouTube will rein that video right in and won't show it to no one. And the video ultimately will be a flop. I mean, it could be a fantastic video. We could spend 2 days editing it. It could be perfect and it'll just flop. And then I release a video at say 6 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday, and it just takes off because everyone's online watching it, and because everyone sees it and clicks on it and watches it. It feeds the algorithm of YouTube that says, "Oh, this video is doing good. People are engaging," and it pushes it out to a bigger audience, and then they watch it at a bigger audience. So what I'll do is I'll upload a video and it'll be live for the members to see straight away, but I'll have to hold it back till a certain date and a certain time when on my YouTube studio it tells me when my viewers are online and most active, and I'll release it at that time and day. So that's the benefit. If you're on the membership thing, you can see all that early. I mean, but it's great anyway. I've just nice little thing. So thank you very much, mate. Appreciate all the extra members you've just added there, mate. Thank you. Oh, look at all these guys now. Wayne Holden, Andy Slate. Oh, Wayne, how you doing, Holt? Mate, you okay? Andy Slate, nice one. Uh, Liverpool School Plastering. I bought YouTube Pick the People to Gift. Spot on. That's great. Fine. Mate, you're a gentleman. Thank you very much. Um, Alfie Lando, when's your next video coming out? It'll be Alfie in probably 2 or 3 days' time, mate. I'm going to be editing the thing tomorrow. It might be finished tomorrow. If not, I'll be doing a bit more editing on Wednesday and then it'll be finished. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. I've got a paid integration going in the video, a sponsorship from Manscaped, that do the beard trimmers and all that. They're sponsoring that video. So what happens is I've got to do I've got to film their little integration. I've got to send it off to them, and they've got to tell me that they're happy with it, and they'll want something changing. They always want something changing. Then it comes back to me. Then I have to edit it and change it, then send it back off to them. Then it comes back again, and then I can post it. So, yeah, be the next 2 or 3 days. Now, ultimately, I know that seems a lot of faffing round, but the sponsorship deals are really worth me doing. I know it's crap watching them. I know when you're watching a video and it says, right, just want to thank our sponsors, and I waffle on for the next 60 seconds or a minute and a half, but it helps me be able to make the content ultimately, because if like I can take a day off work then to do it because I've been paid. Um, Liverpool school president. I need a new beard trimmer. Mate, we are. Wait there. Let's stay there. I'll show. This is nuts. I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to bring this into the channel? I've got it here. Wait there. I'll show you something mad. Right. There's my little gift box he sent me. So get off this. I've got to make a little integration for these. Now, these have been quite cool actually, because usually they send you a thing out that you can talk about and things that you can and can't say. Right. So I don't even know if I'm meant to be showing you this before I do the integration, right? But they usually send you a thing out. You can say this, you can't say this, blah blah. These have just said you can say whatever you want. Just I'm not allowed. The only thing I'm not allowed to say is that this won't cut you. So I mean, I've used it. It 99% won't cut you, but I can't say that in the integration. But get on to what it says. It's not just for your beard. I'm like, this is a family show, man. I can't be talking about stuff like this. Flipping shaving your nuts. My daughters are going to be watching. Do you know? Well, they won't, but do you know what I mean? Like you having a flipping laugh. So there's this. Like that's like your little beard. But look, right. So you use this for your beard. You can use it all over. But when it says in the bump that he sends you, like in the little manual, in those hard to reach places, it's got a little light on it, so you so you can light up, so you can see where you're going. Flipping heck. And then yeah, so I don't know. I've got to. Do you know what? I've got to figure out how to use it all properly first. I've been using that, and it is sound, and it's waterproof as well. I mean, I'm not plugging this. They probably watch this and think they're getting a free little bit of advertising, but it's waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. So yeah, I've got to figure out how to integrate that into my video anyway, which I'm sure I won't have any problem doing. But I'm thinking, how am I going to start saying to people, you can shave your face, and if you want to shave your knackers, you can do. Right, where are we up to? Right, yeah, slow down, fellas, because I haven't had none of these. Yeah, I won't. Someone's just said, and they give you a free lawnmower 4,000. I won't be using the lawnmower though. Don't. I'm flipping. You know what I mean? I ain't shaving. I'm all man. Me, I ain't shaving nothing off. I'm flipping. Right, where are we up to? David Evans, been watching your videos for a while now, and you truly are a breath of fresh air. I've been a plasterer for 22 years and still learn tips and tricks and great advice. Love your enthusiasm too. Cheers, Dave. Thank you very much, mate. And do you know what? Do you know what the good thing about this is, mate? I put stuff out there, and people might learn little tips and tricks off me. But what's interesting is people will then put in the comments, "Oh, you should have done this, this, and this," or you should. Mate, I'm learning stuff as well. I'm picking up different things. And I thought to myself, I've done a lot of stuff. There's not much that I can learn, but I'm always willing to learn. And I tell you, I have picked up quite a few tips from the comments, so it's good. It's good. I think social media is a good thing, isn't it? You think what's sad is when we look back in the future, and let's just imagine, right? You could go back in time, 200 years, and say, in our day, we had the internet. We could talk to anybody in the world, anywhere, at any time. The whole world was connected, right? And they say, imagine going back in time saying this, and then they say, "Did you stop all the wars? Did you end hunger?" And you're like, "Ah, we trolled each other and give each other shit on the internet." You're like, there's so much stuff that we can do with the internet. You can educate people. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a great educator, but if what I do helps flipping one person become better at their job, and they earn more money and do a nicer job going for, and it puts a smile on someone's face. That's a win, isn't it? That's a win. But then there's people out there that are like, "Ugh, let's see, say this and say," and you're like, wow, look what we've achieved with humanity. Let's use it for a good thing. But people on Facebook taking pictures of the dinner. you know, you can literally, reply to Donald Trump's tweets. You can literally speak to the president of the United States or well, when he was the president anyway. But you can literally speak to anybody in the world. It's an amazing tool, isn't it? The internet. I always say as well, think of all the old greats. I've got books here by William Miller. This is what they call the Plasterer's Bible. If you've never heard of that, it's a book on literally how to do everything with plaster. Lime plastering, all the ornate stuff that you see from the Victorian times. Imagine if he had YouTube. Imagine if this. I mean, flipping what plaster? He just laugh at me. This fella would laugh at. I'm an apprentice, right? I'm just not even fit to mix his flipping lime plaster for him. Some of the stuff that guy could do. Imagine if he could make videos and share it to the whole world. Flipping amazing, isn't it? But and then you go on TikTok and everyone's having a flipping slagging each other off. Da-da-da-da. I went the next bathroom video, mate. Probably I don't know, a week or two. I'll be honest with you, it's coming on top a little bit indoors with the wife. She wants the bathroom finishing, so probably a couple of weeks time, and I'll be back on with the bathroom again. Steve Thorndale, new trowel recommendation, please, Kirk. Well, I love the trowel I use. It's the only size trowel I ever want to use. I use a 14-inch by 4-inch. Now, it's a bit awkward going into internals on the right-hand side because my knuckles hit the wall, but I've figured out little ways of getting around that. But that's the trowel for me. I just like the size of it, so I would recommend it because it's very gentle on your wrist and it's quite easy and nimble to work with. Alfie Landra, nice. Did they give you a free lawnmower 4000? Mate, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I don't know. The beard hedger, the handyman. I don't know. I like the look of this thing though. I like that there's one of them. That could come in handy. I don't want to do it. What? Tickles. Yeah, there's a few different bits in there. I'll tell you what's underneath that as well. There's a flipping box with it here. Look at this. I did notice this. There's a thing that you put on, like when you're in the barber's shop. Like I won't be bothering with that, but I think that when you've shaved your nuts, you can put your Manscaped boxer shorts on. I mean, how far are these guys going? It's flipping. They're quite silky though. Yeah, well, they feel quite. Yeah. Anyway, can you imagine me doing a 60-second integration there, flipping shave myself completely bald with me undies on, trying to recommend this? I don't know what they've got in mind, what they think I'm going to be doing. But listen, all they're going to be getting out of me is me shaving my beard, and it's a great product. Like, but I won't be walking around in my undies. I guarantee that. Flipping nuts, aren't they? Robert Pugh, is it worth it? Where's your other comment, Robert? I don't know what you're on about here. What is it? What worth it, mate? Right, Alfie Landra. Now respect, mate. Gotta get the bread. um, MC Subs. I don't use razors. I just smother my hairy bits in SBR and yank it off in one go. That's the one. Yeah, I'm with you. Paint SBR all over your nutsack. Right, just bed some scrim into it, and once it's gone off, just rip the scrim off, and you're good to go. You're good to go. Imagine that. The flipping bollocks come off with it as well. Andy Slate, Manscaped coming out. Jeff Jones, do Manscaped Do back shavers, asking for my wife. Yeah, do you know what, mate? I think if you got that and you put an angle bead on the end of it, you'd be able to do your back with it as well. Wayne Holden, I'm a plumber but love your videos. Always watching them. Cheers, Wayne. Where have we gone here now? Hugh Jundies. Oh God, no, we don't need to see that video. Mark Holtz thanking Liverpool School Plastering for the membership. Tell you what, we're a lovely fella. Thanks for doing. Hey, that's a really nice thing that you've done there, mate. Thank you very much for doing that. Liverpool School of Plastering. You're a gentleman. Um, Andy Slate, trim your grass, make your yard look bigger. It's, I've been with my missus since I was like 17 years old. Flipping, there ain't no fooling her, mate. She knows exactly what she's got to deal with. There's no making it look bigger. Flipping heck. Liverpool School Plastering. Yes, mate. Shave your nuts in the dark when you can. That's it. It's got a little torch on it and everything, you know. It's nuts in it. Oh, flipping. Right, Martin Bridge, Easy Kirk. Can you do tiling? Yes, mate, I can. I've done rucks and rucks of tiling over the years. Um, Skater Guy 52. How's the bathroom coming? Oh, mate, we're getting there. Very slow progress. I just need to plaster it. That's where I'm up to. I need to plaster it. And as you can imagine, being a plasterer is the last thing I want to do when I get home. So that's just dragging me heels a bit. Brian Costello, good to know how you organise your diary. Thanks, Kirk. I want to join your group as well. Do you interact with all the lads individually if they need advice, or is it a group thing? No. So anyone that joins the sales and marketing group, what I say to them is, there's a step-by-step system in there full of, there's about 70 odd videos, and you work your way through them all. Videos on how to bring in work from social media, how to bring in work from Google, how to bring in work from other tradespeople, how to price jobs, how to be a good salesman, or well, up to what I would class as a good salesman. I mean, there's probably a million better salesmen than me, but I don't lose many jobs when I go and price them. How to add value, all that sort of stuff. And then I say to the lads, whilst you're in the group, you are free to contact me on the phone, on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, however you want. You can get hold of me whenever you want, whenever you need. I'm at the end of the phone. And anyone that goes in the group, before they go in, I have a little chat to them on the phone just to keep any lunatics out. You know, if there's a nutter, then we don't let them in because we don't want crazy people in there. Um, and that's pretty much it. Everyone's there's a couple of admins in the group. Everyone's welcome to interact. There's not much chatting really amongst the lads in the group because everyone just, you know, they're there to get the information and take it and run and go and do what they want to do, you know. I'll tell you what the whole purpose of the group was. And I'll tell you how it come about being there as well, just whilst we're having a little chin wag. People were asking me plastering questions online like this now, and you know, I'm quite happy talking about anything to do with plastering. But then people started asking me, you know, about pricing and getting jobs and how do you do this, and there's certain things when it comes to your workings of your business that you don't really want to put on the internet for everybody to see. But I can also see, because I was a young lad once and I didn't know how to price jobs and I didn't know how to get work and all the rest of it. I tried loads of I learned by trial and error, and I've paid coaches to coach me. I've paid sales coaches. I've paid social media marketing coaches. You know, Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Sean Whalen, Bilal Ghul. I've literally paid people to learn from them, and I'll say I'm quite a switched on guy. You know, I find the way things work and I go with it and stuff. And I thought I don't really want to put all that information just out there for everybody, right? So I wanted to make a private little group. But then, how do you keep nosy people from just coming in the group? Well, you just charge them a tiny little fee, so £1 a day. So that's how I ended up having sales and marketing group, because I wanted to tell people this stuff, but I didn't want to just give it away to anybody. So if you charge people £1 a day, I mean, I guarantee that I can make you an extra flipping 50, 60, 100, £200 a day on top of that. Anyway, you'll soon get your money back if you apply what I'm saying. And that's how I ended up with the group. But yeah, of course, once you're in there, you're free to fire away, and there's no contracts. You can leave when you want. But one of the main things that I really do it for is because once you once you learn my system of how I bring in work and how I price jobs and all the rest of it, once you know that, I mean, you might do it, you can put your own little spin on it, but once you know what I do, I know what I do works because I've kept myself and other plasterers going for like, 20 plus years. So I know what I do works. Once you know what I do, then you can take it and run and go with it. There's no contracts. You can leave when you want. But the thing with it is, there's loads of fellas that are on like My Builder and Checker Trade and all this, and you're doing the hard work and you're paying them thousands and thousands of pounds, and you're held to them then because all your reviews and all your whole source of work is them. And if they decide to double their prices, you've got to pay it because they've got all your reviews and everything. That's your source of work. And I don't like that. I don't like the fact that there's people out there that have never done a hard day's graft plastering in their life and they've got control of you, and you're the working man and they're making money off the back of you. Now, yes, I'm making money off the back of you in my little group, but it's like literally it's £1 a day. It just keeps the idiots out and you can leave one whenever you want. But ultimately, once you know what I've taught you, you can take it and run and you're good to go. You're away then. You know the system. It works for the rest of your life. It's not a sales plug, by the way. I'm just explaining the background and how it all works. I'm not trying to tell you that to get you in my group. I'm just telling you that's the thinking behind it, and that's where it comes from. You Alfie Landry, what's that book, mate? And where did you get it from? Right, there's a few. I've got quite a lot of plastering books, mate. There's plastering books. There's loads of them all over the place. Now, this, if you're referring to this book, which I think you are, the sorry, the writings come off the cover. It's called Plastering, Plain and Decorative by William Miller. Right, the nickname for that is the Plasterer's Bible. Now, if you are learning to plaster, that probably isn't the best book for you because there's multi-finish, board finish. British gypsum didn't even exist when this was wrote. This is all lime plastering. The principles of what's taught in there is how to, make sure walls are plumb and square and piers and how to do columns and running molds and lime and all sorts of stuff like that. It pretty much doesn't apply to anything you'll see on a building site today. But I like it because it's literally the scope of the information in there is vast. If you just wanted to increase your knowledge a little bit for plastering for nowadays, go and get Plastering an Encyclopedia by Peg and Stagg, or this book by J.B. Taylor. There's different covers of this, but J.B. Taylor Plastering. This is a very simple to understand book. Fantastic for anyone starting out with plastering. If you like reading, I love. I'm a bookworm. I love reading, so I've read all these books multiple times, and I still go back and reference things now. Well, that's a great little book. Oh, let me turn the flipping heater off. I've got an infrared heater on my ceiling. It's like a radiator on my ceiling, like an electric infrared heater. And because we're yapping, I forget. And I'm sat here, look at me, I'm flipping sweating, just sat here. Red hot in here, like a little sauna. Ruben65, Kirk, man, you are a genuinely good guy in the cesspit of the internet. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Wayne Holden, the thing is, would these people who criticize others, would they go on YouTube and show people? Don't think they would. You're good at what you do. Keep doing it, fella. Cheers. Thank you very much, mate. I always say that as well. I always say when people start going on too much, I'm like, look, if someone's just abusive, I'll block them. Here's the thing: a lot of fellas won't. A lot of guys, they will ask questions with criticism. There's a lot of fellas aren't humble enough to ask a genuine question, and I'm big enough and ugly enough to see through that as well. So, for instance, let's just say someone a little bit older than me, so they won't sort of. How's the best way of putting this? If they think they're above you, who've been plastering longer than you, then they won't have the humility to ask you a question. So I'll say, for instance, be recommending that you use SBR for internal plastering. Instead of that man saying to me, Kirk, is SBR safe to use? You know, does it really work? How long have you been using it for? They will instead say to me, you can't do that. We've used PVA for years. PVA works fine. You know, that'll probably fail. Do you know what I mean? They'll give you a dig. And ultimately, they're just inquisitive. They do actually want to know what your comeback is so they can weigh up for themselves if SBR is good or not. Does that make sense? A lot of fellas aren't humble enough to ask a question. Instead, they'll have a poke at you to get an answer. Now I see through that a lot of the times, so I will just give them the answer. But if someone is really going out of the way to be offensive or just being an arsehole, then I'll usually just block them. So, or depending on what mood I'm in, I might just tear them a new arsehole and just start taking the piss out of them, you know, because you usually find that people that troll you are usually quite thick. You know, people that are genuinely out to try and insult you, they're usually not the smartest people in the world. So, and what's funny is if someone's in of that mindset to troll you, they're usually coming from a bit of a crap position themselves, you know. So anybody that is genuinely better than you won't troll you because they're not intimidated by you. It's usually people that are, you know, crap at what they do that will attack you, you know, bite at your ankles and stuff. So there's two ways of looking at it. When the lion walks through the jungle, does he turn round to roar at every little mouse that squeaks at him? You know, or sometimes I think to myself, well, you know, they're not that smart, so it is quite easy to manipulate them and make them look stupid, which sometimes I'll do to entertain myself. But it's then I feel bad then because I think to myself, you know, that fella's probably already in a bad situation. That's why he's got that mindset that he's got, and I've just made him look stupid. So that doesn't help him. You know, he probably feels even worse now. So maybe he'll take it out with his missus and his kids next. You know, so that's not a good thing either. The internet's a crazy place, isn't it? You know, we just got to do what we can to be kind. Being kind and being respectful costs nothing. And I'm kind to everybody, you know. I've got sort of two modes, me. I'm either I'm super, super nice to everybody, or I'll have a bit of a banter and a laugh with them. But you'll know if anybody ever really if anyone ever did get to me or upset me, you'd know because I'd just go silent with them. And then because I'm either dead nice yet or I want to kill you. There's no sort of in between. I'm like dead nice. Yeah, yeah, go for it. Next minute I'm at your front door, ready to kill, dragging you out. You know? So, oh, flipping. But they don't ever bother me, to be honest with you. Trolls and all abuse in the comments and all that nonsense. The only thing that ever could get to me is somebody um, upsetting me family. You know, you say what you want to me, flipping heck. Some of the things my missus says to me when we have a rap, you know, if I can take that off her, mate, there's nothing anyone that doesn't know me can say to me in the comments section. Um, ah, where are we up to here now? Edge, hi, just recently rendered an external wall, a wall external grain coming out. It's hard to taping finished. What should I do? Thanks. Sorry, Edge. Hi, just recently rendered wall external grain coming out. It's hard to taping finished. What should I do? I'm sorry, Edge, mate. I don't mean to sound offensive, but I don't know what you're saying, mate. Um, I don't know, I can't get the gist of it. Sorry, pal. MC Shopping Centre, lol. Phyllis, evening, everyone. It's getting on, is it? It's morning now. I'm not in work tomorrow, so I'm not bothered. I hope you guys, if you guys are in work, then you've probably got half an hour left. 1 o'clock's about as late as you want to be, isn't it? If you're up early. GG, is there any advantages to using sand and cement over hardwall other than cost and drying times, please? Um, Sand and cement takes longer to be able to skim over than hardwall. It's a lot cheaper. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to work with. Um, I prefer working with sand and cement than what I would hardwall, and it's cheaper. So that's why I'd go with it. In fact, the only times I really ever use hardwall used to get it in Travis Perkins when it would go out of date, they'd sell it dead cheap, sell it for £1 a bag, and I'd just buy the whole pallet then, you know. Um, Phil S, love your videos. Didn't realise you did lives. Yes. Yeah. To be honest, Phil, we were talking about this before. My lives used to be every Sunday at 7. But my good lady, my missus, right? I don't know what it is. I was saying to the lads before, when I sort of set something as a target, like, right, I'm going to start doing lives every day at 7. It's like my missus goes out of her way to try and stop me doing it. I don't know why. It's like she's got something in her that she likes to just interfere with my plans a little bit, you know? Unless it benefits her, she just likes to interfere with them, you know. So if I said every day at 7 o'clock, I'm gonna, every Sunday for 7, I'm gonna take you for a meal, sweetheart, she'd be ready with her shoes on, all ready to go. But yeah, I don't know why it is. That's just women for you to think. They just like to throw a little spanner in there just to test you, see what you're made of. So the lives have been a little bit hit and miss lately, mate. But yeah, I like doing lives because I feel like I can have a bit of a banter with the lads. When you're just doing videos and post them, it all seems to be like one way. Whereas sat here, we'll have like a little chat. It feels like being in the pub for me. Wayne Holden, I spoke to him on TikTok. He was quick to reply to me. Wait, are you talking about me? I think you're talking about me. I try and reply to everybody. Do you know what? I feel a bit crap because now, sort of, like I've been looking on my dashboard on YouTube. On YouTube, I get I get stats to say how many views my videos are getting, and it sort of combines all the views of all the videos over the month. And I'm at like 2 million views, man. And people are commenting, and I just can't keep up with it. Flipping, and it bugs me because I know there's genuine people asking genuine questions. And people have said on the lives, I've asked you 3 times and you've ignored me. And I genuinely don't. It's just you get overwhelmed, man. I'm trying my best to get back to people, but yeah, on TikTok, there's a message button where people can message you directly, and I do genuinely try and get back to every single one of them. So if you're on about me, Wayne, then spot on. Um, Phil asks, any good plasterers in the northwest on here? I don't know if I should put my hand on. Martin Bridgekirk, love your shit. Keep it up, mate. Your vids really cheer me up and give me something to look forward to. Cheers, Mark. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate you saying that, mate. If I give you something to look forward to, mate, thank you very much. I try my best. Um, uh, Simon Palmer, Plastering Plain and Decorative 4th edition, 127 quid on Amazon. If need to get a job as a spread to be able to afford it. Yeah, I think, you know what? I bought that one. I'm sure that was more expensive than that. I think they've come down in price. I'm sure that was about 200 quid when I first bought it, mate. Um, Martin Bridge, mate, any chance I can volunteer working for you for the day/week? Well, do you know the mad thing? People say to me all the time, and I always say to people, look, if you want to come out and spend a bit of time with us, then you're more than welcome, as long as you're not a nutter. You might not be able to jump on things with us. I don't know what skill level you're at, but you're more than welcome. You can get hold of me. There's ways of getting hold of me from my channel. Just go to the channel description and follow the links, and you'll be able to email me. Mate, you're more than welcome. I'm up. We've got one shot at this life, haven't we? Right? Think of this. This is my little philosophy, right? We are on a rock flying through space. It's apparently, unless you're a flat earther, I don't know. But got one little shot at this life. Sod the rules, man. If someone wants to come and spend the day with me, because you're more than welcome to come and meet me. That's just enjoy your life, isn't it? If there's no restrictions on anything. I mean, it's just an experience, isn't it? Life is just an experience, then you're dead forever. So I'm not going to say no to anybody. If you want to come and spend a bit of time with me, mate, and you're a funny guy, and I have a laugh, and it enriches my life and enriches your life, then great. I don't want to get too deep, but that's how I look at life, mate. You just got to enjoy it, haven't you? Got to have a laugh. No point being down because you got one shot at this, and if you sulk your whole time through it and mope about and want to focus on the negatives and all that, then at the end of it, mate, when you're dead, you've only got yourself to blame for wasting your own life, haven't you? So enjoy it whilst you're here. Try and do good, love, be happy, enrich other people's lives. You know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Phyllis, I want to learn how to plaster my own home, not as a job, as I have a career, but really useful to have behind me. Yeah, spot on, Phil. I've, I've, I've I went and did a job with one of the subscribers of the channel who had taught himself to plaster, and he'd done a really good job as well. So, and it is possible. I mean, this fella had done a mint job. I couldn't fault him. So, Alfie, write him off, Kirk. Have a good night, mate. Take it easy, Alfie. I think I'll be signing off. Famous last words. I think I'll be signing off soon. Wayne, oh mate, Wayne Holden gifted one on the trial membership. Yeah, flipping, this is nuts. This spot on. Who's got this? Cavan Jr. was gifted a membership by Wayne Holden. There we go, Cavan Jr. You are now a member as well, mate. You'll be able to see behind the scenes stuff soon. I'll get some behind the scenes videos out, and you get early footage of any new videos coming out. Liverpool School Plastering. Women are good at sharpening your skills. Yes, mate. Yes. Do you know what? I've had plenty of practice now. You know, I've been around women for a long time now, so I'm getting good at understanding them. They are definitely different thinking. You've just got to remember, as a bloke, that women just think differently to you. You know, they come at you with problems. My missus or daughters will come at me with problems, right? And I say to them, "Do you want me to fix the problem or just listen about the problem? What do you want me to do?" 90% of the time, they just want to tell me. They just want to get it off the chest and tell me about the problem. Okay. That's the mad thing. Because as blokes, you know, a man comes at you, he's like, Kurt, da, 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 this has happened. And like, right, okay, I'll do this. And it's like, that's it then. End of problem. That he doesn't want a hog, he doesn't want to get it all off his chest. He just, this is the problem I've got. Here's the solution, mate. Job done. That's blokes. Women are different than that. And it's mad because you keep slipping back into it. But women, they don't necessarily want you to fix anything. They just want to tell you about it, you know? So you just got to sit there and listen and pay attention. Oh, fucking, that's crazy, isn't it? Um, Adam, evening, Kirk, and all. I've never left a comment in here for anything or anyone, but I feel the need to say something, and that's a massive thank you for all the work you do. Massive inspiration to all. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. The comments. Luke Roberts, insurance patch plastering, and the lifelong builder client telling you it's wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Umar Javid, and I have a question, Kirk. I'm going to lay blocks in a couple of days for a customer. Is it okay to mix lime in the mortar like 6:1:1 ratio? Thanks, mate. Um, I would. I'm not a bricklayer, mate. So maybe a bricklayer will disagree. I've seen many bricks laid with lime in the mortar. I couldn't see it being a problem. Bear in mind one thing, something to keep in mind though. If you get clumps of lime that don't mix in, then what will happen is if you render over them, it'll blow the render off. So if you ever look at a render on old buildings and it's been blown off in little patches or plastic inside, sometimes you'll find a little hard clump of lime that hasn't been mixed in. And as it carbonate, I can't think of the flipping word now, but anyway, as it goes through its process of turning back into limestone through carbonation, it will blow off whatever's on top of it. So just make sure if you're going to do it, that you mix it thoroughly. You know, make sure there's no little clumps of lime in there. Faceless gaming. Any reasons you don't use stainless steel trowels? Now I'm going to say something now, and and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, especially if my missus is watching. It's just it's just a it's just a saying, isn't it? Right, stainless steel trowels, right? So I've used stainless steel, I've used carbon steel or spring steel, whatever you want to call it. Steel that rusts, steel that doesn't. Right? For me, it's just nice to have a difference. I've used stainless. I'll probably use steel that rusts for another year or two, and then I might just swap back to stainless steel. And here's the saying: it's like taking a different woman home. You're doing the same thing, but it's all new because it feels different. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I could potentially get a divorce for saying that, but ultimately, that's what it is. It's just different. It just keeps it interesting. One, you've been doing this game for like I've been plastering since I was 11 years old. I've got to find ways to keep it interesting. That's what I was saying about going off doing jobs, interesting jobs, working abroad. Anything that's interesting, I'm all up for doing. Trying new methods, everything. People tell me all the time different things in the comments. You should do it this way, you should do it that way. I think I've tried it all. I genuinely have because it makes it interesting. So there's not many things I haven't had to go of. People say, "Have you try sponge floating? You should do this," and yeah, I've done it. Tried it just for something to do, you know. Well, that's why I use carbon steel because I was using stainless steel for so long and I just switched. In fact, I'll tell you the mad thing. Oh no, it wasn't. I was going to say the very very first video of my channel. If you click on videos and go to oldest, very very first video. I mean, excuse the editing and the whatever. That was the first carbon steel trap, but it wasn't. I did have one before that, but anyway, yeah. I was going to tell you something then, but it's not right. It's bullshit, so forget it. I had a 14 inch carbon steel before that. That was just the newer one. Um, Till last night, mate. All this morning talk is making me tired. Take it easy, Phil. Michael Bless, mate. Charlie Wilson, hey up, mate. Just want to say thanks for all the tips and videos because I've started as an apprentice and I've got such a good head start from your help. Charlie, spot on. Tell you one thing though, Charlie. Do be aware of one thing if you're still watching, mate. If you haven't gone to sleep already, um, the fella that's teaching you, you can watch all you want from me, right? But remember, the fella that's teaching you, he's the one that's teaching you. So don't disagree with him and sort of do something that I've recommended, even if me and him disagree, as it seems by watching my video, I'm recommending one thing, and your fella that's teaching you is saying do something different. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Do what the fella that's teaching you wants you to do, mate. Do it his way, all right? Even if in the back of your mind you might see something that I'm doing or somebody else is doing, and you think that's the better way of doing it, fair play. It may well be, right? It may well be. There's always better ways of doing things, but just do it his way out of respect for him, because if he thinks that you're pulling against his authority, then he won't teach you as fast. You are better off being a star pupil. You will progress a lot faster. And in the future, when you're on your own, you can do as you please, can't you? You can do all the other 19 ways of skinning the cat. You can practice and do whatever you want. Well, that's the only advice I'd give you, mate. So I appreciate you saying that, and I thank you very much. And I'm not trying to sort of put a negative spin on it, but it's just something to be aware of. I know if my apprentice come in, it's great if he's learned dead fast, but then if he started doing it other ways and like, yeah, well, this is a better way of doing it because I've seen this guy do it, I'd be like, mate, I just want you to do it the way I'm showing you for now. Do what you want when you're on your own. But anyway, Charlie, spot on, mate. Appreciate your comments. Just a bit of advice for you, that's all, mate. That was all it was. Um, Liverpool School of Plastering. Love my stainless steel Marshalltown 14 inch. I had it for 15 years and earned me thousands over the years. 100%, mate. Yeah. Whatever works, works. You're spot on. Michael Calm, nice one, Kirk. Very informative, like. Thank you, Michael. Adam, on a serious note, he's still after a successor. My son is pretty much geared up to just take over, isn't he? Ultimately. Um, I mean, he's got the same name, so the business I mean, the business. But this is the thing when people say about the plastering business, the business. All my business is my phone number, and my Google business page and my Facebook profile. That's the business. That's it. I mean, do you know what? Um, it's all geared up because little Kirk could just step straight in, couldn't he? When someone rings up and says, "That Kirk Johnson, the plasterer," he's like, "Yeah, it's me." So, I mean, ultimately, he could succeed me. Would I want him to? I want the little fella to do whatever he thinks is best. Here's the mad thing. There's no right or wrong way in life. Whatever you choose to do can be right or wrong depending on how you look at it. Whatever makes you happy. If you're happy, you've made the right choices, aren't you? And if you're not happy, then choose to be happy or change something. And then whatever you did was the right choice. So got me you get me all philosophical. I'm sorry about this, guys. Let's keep it light. Um, School plastering, you were right, Kurt, when you said 30 plasters have 30 different ways. 100%, mate, yeah. It's what I can't plaster how my dad taught me. It's just I just find different ways of doing stuff, and everyone's the same. I don't think I don't thi there's not many people I think that stick to exactly what they were shown because different things work for different situations, and then you just get used to doing it that way. So, yeah, it's just good, isn't it? It's good if you can pick up a bit from everybody. What's painful to see is when someone decides that they know everything and there's nothing you can teach them. I mean, that you lose the joy of it then as well. That's the thing. When you think you know everything, you've lost the fun of it because it's more interesting when you pick something new up and you think, flipping heck, I never tried that before. That's great. Um, Nobody cares. Rumor has it you use a trowel to butter your toast. Love the videos, man. Keep it up. Yeah. You know what? What did I don't know if it's here somewhere. Refiner sent me an interesting trowel to open bottles. Hey, that's a better trowel. Sod buttering your toast, mate. Let's open the Stellas with that. Saying that, and I haven't even drank since Christmas. Um, Charlie Wilson, yeah, I understand, mate. I'm learning loads from him also, as he does stuff similar ways as you do. But honestly, I've learned so much from you, mate. Spot on, Charlie. Spot on, mate. Do you know what I was thinking as I was saying all that to you? I was going off on a bit of a tangent, mate, and I was thinking, flipping it. The lad just said a nice thing to you, and you're sort of telling him, no, listen to your boss. But I appreciate what you're saying, mate. I'm glad you found the gist of what I was trying to say to you as well. I just wouldn't want, as much as I enjoy sort of sharing my knowledge, I wouldn't want you to hinder your progress by somebody else getting the hump that you're trying to do things my way, not his way. So I'm glad you're onto that, mate. Spot on. And thanks for the nice comment, mate. Thank you very much. Um, Liverpool school plastering probably find the girls were better. Some are natural to it. Yeah, oh, amazing. Oh, amazing. Me middle daughter, like 3 daughters. Eldest one, um, dumb, like dozy, like she'd trip over her own feet, but quite switched on with numbers and animals. Right, wanted to be a vet, trained to be an accountant because unfortunately she went. So my eldest daughter went to train to be a veterinary nurse, not a vet. Veterinary nurse. She was in a college trained to be a veterinary nurse. Very small group of friends she's got, and two friends came to see it. And when they drove home, um, another fella came into their lane and collided with them, and he was doing 90 miles an hour and killed my daughter's two best mates in a head-on collision. And that upset our Chloe quite a hell of a lot. Like she really went within herself, and she stopped going to college. She couldn't go to the college where because it was like a little group. There's like 3 of them. They were like little best mates in college, and they did little holidays together and all sorts of stuff. And when they died, she stopped going to college to train to be the veterinary nurse. That was the end of it. She couldn't go anymore. She didn't want to go anymore. It finished it off for her. So then she's doing like a job accounting. Me next daughter, the youngest daughter, the one that was saying goodnight to me before, she's 12, dead smart, dead switched on. She's in a grammar school. Don't know where she gets it from, but she's in a grammar school. She's like a little, very very switched on mind, right? But she can be quite cold, you know. She's a bit of a straight talker. She gets that from her mum. Now, when we were saying about the girls being good at plastering, the middle daughter, our Maisie, right? So the other two are quite smart. Our Maisie is thick as two short planks, like literally gorgeous girl. Um, struggles to spell her own name. She's dyslexic. Well, I'm saying this. I won't. Right or wrong, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. I won't let her get tested. I won't let her mum get her tested because she's potentially dyslexic, potentially a little bit autistic. She doesn't struggle with social interactions and often she's very, very socially intelligent. Like she can read the room. She's a lot more switched on than me. My missus is quite switched on. Emotional and social intelligence, my missus is very tuned in. We'll go to a restaurant and my missus will be like, yeah, it's that couple over there, they're having an affair. I can tell by the body language. And I'll be like, whatever. Anyway, 3 weeks later, it'll come out. I was like, she's like, I told you they're having an affair. I spotted that. I was like, she's switched on. Oh, Maisie's like that, my middle one. The one that's dyslexic, she's very switched on and she's amazing at horse riding. So I know most parents try and big the kids up, but me middle daughter's literally represented England for show jumping and pony riding and whatever. I don't know. You got horse crap. We've took her to Ireland to compete in the nationals against different countries and stuff. She's very good, but she's not very bright. That kid though, she's very good with her hands as well. I've took her to jobs and she's had a go at plastering. She comes and films me sometimes, and she is good at plastering. So yeah, you're spot on, mate. The girls, oh Maisie especially, is they are quite good at things like that. What's interesting is, for me, you know, they've all come from the same stuff, but they're all completely different kids. They've got completely different personalities and the completely different skill sets. It's bizarre, you think you're made of the same ingredients, but you're all different. It's flipping mad, isn't it? Um, MC Shopping Centre. Little Kirk may want to be a YouTuber like his dad instead. Who knows? I've said to the girls, I've said going about our Maisie as well, the one that's good with the ponies and the horse riding and show jumping. Said to her, you could make a little YouTube channel, sweetheart. You could do a YouTube channel on horses and how to break a horse in and how to get on, how to do a jump. Or I don't know how to. They have all different things in the horse world. If you know anything about horses, how to switch legs and how to measure your gait before a jump and all this crap. I haven't got a flipping clue. I just little bits of the pick up whilst I'm there. I overheard them talking. You can make videos on all this, but not interested. This is the thing, right? There's a saying, isn't there? Um, weak men create hard men create good times create weak men. And basically, what the thing of it is, if you're brought up like fairly, you have a bit of a tough upbringing, then usually you're quite ambitious and want to go out and create something. But then when you go and do that, then ultimately you create when you've done quite well for yourself, then you create spoilt kids, and then because they're spoilt, they don't want to do anything, and then they have a hard life and just like a cycle, isn't it? That goes on. So I am quite conscious that I could be flipping making my kids. I mean, they're not spoiled little brats, but they've also got no ambition to go and get anything and do anything because I just give them money. When I was a kid, I used to go and flipping mow lawns for £1 and shovel snow off old ladies' driveways for free, and then hope they might give me 50p so I could save up and go and buy a magazine or something. Whereas these are like, Dad, I put 5 things in your basket on Amazon. Can you pay for me, please? It's sort of just expected. that it's just all laid on, just money like this. So I think there's going to be a change with the lad. There's going to be so a bit of insight into my mind. Now again, I might be wrong in my thinking. I'm just telling you my thoughts, just putting it out there. So mum, my mum was brought up by me nan and granddad, obviously. Me granddad was a PTI in the army, right? So if you go off to the army, the physical training instructor that's screaming and shouting at you, making you do press ups and all that caper, PTI physical training instructor. That's what my granddad was. So you can imagine the type of man he was, right? Very strict, very regimented, and could be quite a mean guy. Sure, he's a lovely fella, but that's the type of guy he was. So my mum had quite a very strict, tough upbringing, right? Fast forward a few years, she gets with my dad, who also can be quite a mean fella. It's very, very easy for my mum to fit into that role then as his wife. When my dad starts kicking off and you're not doing this and you're staying in and you're not going there and you're not seeing her, it's almost the same as living with my granddad, right? Because he was very strict as well. So here's my thinking on it, right? If I treat my daughters like little princesses, care for them, make sure they've got everything they need, look after them, not mean to them. Obviously, I don't let them get out of hand, but I treat them very, very well and very nice and spoil them to an extent. If they were to go then and get with a boyfriend or a potential husband in the future who's mean to them, it's going to be a massive shock to their system, and hopefully they'll go, "Whoa, what the hell's this?" I'm not putting up with this, and they go. That's my thinking. If I treat them like princesses, then they'll only, if I spoil them, then they'll be spoiled little brats ultimately as wives. I know it's not a good thing, but I don't want them to be. I don't want them to be in a relationship like what my mum and I love the bones of my dad, but he wasn't the best husband, right? I'm sure if he put his hand on his heart, he'd admit it. He was he was what they call old school. You do as you're told, or you get a crack, and that applied for everybody. So I don't want my daughters going through that ultimately because I wouldn't want to have to start dispatching husbands in the future. I want to be able to sort of retire and chill out, not have to go around flipping getting rid of people. But so that's why the thinking is with the daughters: spoil them, treat them nice, and they won't accept anything less when they go and get boyfriends and move on and marry and what have you. That's me hopes. The little lad, on the other hand, he's got to be treated a bit harsher. He's got to understand that if he wants stuff, that he's going to have to go out and make it happen. Can't just be treated like the girls where he gets things on tap. And it's going to be, I know that I've got a challenge on my hands when it comes to the missus, because the missus already is trying to kit him out in nice little outfits and give him, designer outfits. He's only a little tot, got flipping little Hugo. He's better dressed than me. I'm a tramp. I just look at the brands on my clothes, flipping refiner. These are my branded clothes. He's got all the fancy togs, and I've got to say to I've been saying to her, and she's got to understand. It's got to stop. The lad has to basically have it a little bit hard because he needs to be prepared to go out into the world and make stuff himself. He can't be relying on daddy to provide everything for him. That's my thinking. There's probably 100 different ways of raising kids. It's just like plastering. There's probably different mindsets and different ways of looking at it, but that's just the way I've decided to go about it. I might be wrong, I don't know, but that's my thoughts on it. Should we talk about plastering for a bit? I'm going to bed in a minute. Liverpool school plastering. I'm still wearing my plastering t-shirt. I've got in my workshop here because I've ripped the bathroom out. My shower's in here, so I'm going to finish this live. I'm going to go and jump in a shower in a minute because I'm flipping roasting. Even though I've turned that heater off, all these walls and ceiling, everything's insulated with Kingspan, so it's like flipping just holds the heat. Where are we up to? Right. Mark Holt, he might want to be a drag queen. Yeah, can you imagine that? Flipping heck. Yeah, the only thing that'll be in drag, mate, the only thing getting dragged will be him. by his flipping ankles up and down the street whilst he sorts his head out. Flipping drag queen. Me dragging him round by his flipping the scruff of his neck, shaking him to his senses. Um, Manny Emilius, what's the best low tack tape to use to mask up, please? Frog tape. If you're gonna mask up, just use frog tape. Low tack frog tape, because the last thing you want to do is start pulling paint off. Giro Duque. What's the best tip for skimming into existing wall I can't seem to feather into well? Brush it with water. Where you're blending in, if your wall's here, and say you're blending this into here now, you're blending in, yeah. You want to keep brushing the blend and with your trowel going up and down that way. Don't come across because you'll create a bump. Feather up and down, and where you're pushing onto the existing wall, push hard. It's like a flipping razor blade. That's swinging it around. I've been nearly cutting myself. Hey, by the way, does anyone want that? That's 16-inch stainless steel Nella trowel. It's good to go. Actually, it's perfect. It's just been on the shelf in my workshop because I stopped using it. 85 of us online now. If anyone wants that, then go to the channel description and email me. First come, first serve. If you get there, send me an email. I'll send you my address. Send the box to me with your address and stamp and all that caper. Send me the stuff so I can just put that in a box and take it to the post office and you can have it. All right. There you go. That's what you get when you stay on a live till 1 o'clock in the morning with me. You get a free trowel. You got to send me the stuff though. First email that I get with the stuff will be getting that. You've just got to send me the right. Got to send me out a box to put it in with a stamp and your address already on the box. Okay, there you go. Simon Palmer, a great book that my grandfather, who was a master builder, gave me to read. The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist. Bet you would love reading it, Kirk. Do you know what? I love reading, mate. So let me just write that down. Bear with me, because I'll forget that otherwise. I'll be getting that off Amazon later. Come on. I can't even see the. Wait there. 1 second. We'll soon solve this issue. I can't see the flipping tab on that. I can't. There is a tab on it somewhere, but if I just. There we go. The Ragged Trousered Philanthropist. Where's he gone here now? Phil Anthropist. Who said that? Simon Palmer. Cheers, Simon. I'll give that a look, mate. Spot on. We'll have a gander at that. Don't worry about that K-bar either. That's non-threatening. That is just for bushcraft. I like doing a little bit of wilderness survival. When we need, I didn't tell you. There's something interesting. I went to the doctors who sent me to the physiotherapist for my knee. This was a couple of days ago. Went to the physiotherapist. Within 2 minutes, she had me lay on the bed, did a test on my leg where she puts her arm like this underneath my calf muscle, yeah, and then presses down on my thigh above my knee. She does it on my good leg first, and as she pushes down, my foot pops up like this, my foot's lifted up. She does it on my bad leg, pushes down, and the foot stays dead still. Confirmed. Confirmed by a specialist. I've completely snapped my ACL in my right leg. It's gone. The ACL is snapped. So the next step is I've got to go for a scan. They've booked me in for a scan, so I'll be getting a letter for a date to go and have the scan. And then as soon as the scan, because the surgeon apparently won't go off her say so, he wants to look at a scan first. So as soon as I get the scan back, then I'll be getting booked in for an operation to have a bit of my hamstring took out the back of my leg and fed in and a new ACL put in. So once that's fixed, then Kirk can get his fat belly gone, start doing a bit of mountaineering again, which I love, and start doing a little bit of wilderness survival and bushcraft again on the weekends, which I genuinely love. And hopefully that'll all be done within a year and fixed within a year. So, the little fellow will be like 3 or 4 by then. So there'll have plenty of time all from his youth taking camping and climbing mountains and all sorts of stuff like that. So yes, good news. The leg will be getting fixed soon. Andrew Antonio, Kirk, love your videos, mate. So informative and a genuine top geezer. Been spreading for 17 years and still learning. Tennis elbow starting to haunt me again. Ouch, Andy. The London spread. Cheers, Andy. Sorry to hear about your elbow, mate. I don't even know what the best thing is for tennis elbow, but I'm sure there's something you can do to try and make it better. Up to here now. Liverpool School Plastering was just going to say be the most handsome on. Definitely, yeah, handsome. Is that the little fella flipping little Kirk? Yeah, I don't know about that. Flipping, he's absolutely flipping crackers. I know that. He needs to get his hair cut. Do you know the little lad? My missus, because my missus loves little babies. She loves being a mum. It's one of the favorite. That's one of the beautiful qualities that I love about my missus. She has got a fierce love for children, and she's very, very protective as well. She is very. Her instincts are strong. That's what I like about her. She's got strong motherly instincts. My missus, and anyway, because she knows now, like she's 41, she knows my missus. This little fella, our little lad, like he's the last one. There's got me any more kids coming from my missus now. The breeding days have come to an end, and I mean we've had quite a lot of kids, me and my missus, but we've had quite a few mishaps. We've had ectopic pregnancies, we've had miscarriages. Oh, we've been through the whole deal. We've had quite a bit of an interesting time with children, and we've got 4 beautiful children now, so it's all good. This little fella, he's the last one, and my missus, she wants to keep him a baby for as long as possible. She didn't want him to walk. So I was teaching him to walk, and she was crying because she started crying when he stood up and took his first steps because that was the end of his crawling. She wants him to be a little sweet baby forever. And something she's holding on to now is not having his hair cut because as soon as he has his little boy's haircut, he's a little boy then, not a toddler. And yeah, but now what's happening because he's got long hair. Took in the park the other day, and all the kids thought he was a girl. He dropped his ball, and the kids were going, "I'll get it for her. I'll get it." Say to my missus, they all think he's a little girl because of you. uh, Andrew Antonio, going to have the awkward conversations one with a client. He wants me to dab solid 9-inch external walls rather than the application of a 2-coat sand cement system. Tight git, shall I walk? Just tell him your concerns, mate. Just tell him your concerns. Tell him what the deal is. Say, look, ultimately, if it's a solid brick wall, you'll get a bit of penetrating moisture and it can cause wicking, which means that you could potentially in the future. It may not happen, you see. It depends how wet that wall gets. But if it gets soaked enough, you'll start seeing damp patches where the dabs are. Now, one thing you could potentially talk him into doing is just give the wall a good one coat of sand and cement first with waterproofer in it. Won't take long, won't cost much, and then dab onto that, you know. It's an option. Um, Brian Costello, I'll have it. Martin Bridge, I want it. Thanks. We'll see. I haven't got in the emails yet, but I will as soon as I go in the emails. Probably tomorrow. I'll get back to you anyway and send you the address. I'll send you my address, and then you've got to send me the envelope out with the envelope to go back to you. All right. Liverpool. I keep giving Charles away. Lol. Was over 100 last year too. Too soft, mate. I know, yeah, but if it helps someone, I mean, I'm not going to use that, am I? Look at the flipping size of that. I'm not even strong enough to use this thing. I could, obviously, but that's I like me little trowel. I like me little trowel. So, I mean, I've used that. I must have had that. When did I get this trowel? I think I was using this before I went on to carbon steel, and then I had a 14B5 carbon steel, and then I was still getting wrist pains and went to a 14B4. I must have used that trial for a good 5 years, maybe 4 to 5 years. Um, Alistair Booth, hey up, Kirk, here on Nights Welding Aerospace Parts. Flipping heck, Alistair. Nice to see you on, mate. Seems like a long time no speak. Adam, hey, thanks. That's definitely missing these days. Stephen Napier or Napier. I know too well, mate, staying up this late. No ninja crawling into my side this time of night. She'll detect the smallest creak and I'll be done for. Warm enough for me to kip in the shed, maybe. Liverpool School of Plastering. There we go. Sorry, your middle girl will be the most hands-on. I've dyslexia as well. Yeah, fair news. I know what you're saying now. I thought you were saying that he'll be the most handsome. I'm on to what you're saying now. The middle girl will be the most hands-on. Yeah, she definitely. My my middle one, oh mate, I didn't finish telling you, did I? So, our Maisie, I know for a fact she's definitely dyslexic, 100%. She's 15 and she can't spell Johnstone properly. She struggles spelling the surname. Okay, so I know she's definitely got something, right? But here's the deal: my missus wanted to take her and go and get her assessed, um, so that she could get diagnosed, right, in school, so she could have a little bit extra help. And I said to my missus, right, whether this is right or wrong, I don't know. I said to my missus, right, here's the thing: if she gets that extra little bit of help in school, is she going to come out of school with a top end, academic job? Is she going to be like a rocket scientist for NASA? Is she going to be a solicitor or a barrister or a scientist? Like, probably not. Probably the extra little bit of help in school will do hardly anything really in the grand scheme. It might get a grade higher, right? So she goes from a D to a C in whatever. I don't know, I don't even know if it's graded like that anymore. I don't really give a monkeys, right? What it will definitely do for her is give her a label that you aren't quite as good as the other kids. You've got this impairment. Okay. You aren't as smart as everybody else. You've got this, right? And if you genuinely have got dyslexia, you'll know that it doesn't make the slightest bit of difference, really. Your brain can still figure things out. You might just struggle reading and writing. I don't want her to have a limiting belief about herself. I want her to believe that anything she wants to do, she can do it. So here's the thing: we all of us, every single one of you guys, will have felt awkward in a social situation at some point. You will have felt out of place. You will have been around somebody and felt inferior to them at some point. You will have been around an intelligent person and thought, "Oh, I'm a bit out of my depth here. They're quite a smart person. I better keep shut because I don't know what I'm talking about." We will have all felt that at some point. We all know that's just natural. I don't want my little girl to have this label and believe that she's like that because she's not as smart because I'm dyslexic. Oh, that's good. and it compounds. And then she's got this limiting belief: I'll never be able to do this because I've got dyslexia. I'll never be able to do that because I've got autism, or whatever the thing that she gets diagnosed with. I don't want to give her that limiting belief for the sake of getting her a little bit extra help to get a little bit of an extra grade that, in the grand scheme of things, won't make the slightest bit of difference. So I said to my missus, no, I don't want you to assess her. Again, I've had people oppose that thought and mindset, but that's just my kids, my rules. That's what I think. I'm not gonna, if my missus really set her heart against it, she was like determined, but she agrees with me, so that's why. If she didn't agree with me, then maybe we'd look at it. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference. My middle daughter will probably grow up and do some sort of like horse training or something along those lines, working with animals, because that's what she's very good at. Fantastic show jumper. So she may go into breeding horses or something, who knows. Or, well, if you ask her, she just says, I'm going to find a husband like you, Dad, and I won't have to do anything. I'll just do the housework and get paid and have a nice life. So it's an option, isn't it? It's an option for women. I mean, if I could find a good boyfriend that would give me £1,000 a week to do the dishes, I'd probably do it as well. uh, uh, Adam, sorry that didn't make sense. Mention the video idea on work ethic. Reckon it'd be a banger. Oh, right, okay, mate. Where's your comment, Adam? I can't even think what you said now, mate. Oh, there you are, Adam. Yeah, if you ever needed a video idea, one on work ethic would be a good crack. That's a good shout. I've got video ideas wrote down up here, so I'm going to put that on. Yeah, work ethic. Because that's a good shout, that as well. And also mindset. Having the right mindset in work. I've worked for loads of fellas that are just negative, doom and gloom. They look for the flipping cloud. Every silver lining, they're looking for the cloud. And I think that's an important thing as well. Your mindset, not just for work, but for life in general. Your outlook on life, how you choose to go about it, and what you the, the dominant thoughts of your mind, and changing them, positive. Um, Stephen Clark, still live. You'll be hearing the birds soon. Steve, it'll be like one of those dodgy nights when you're in someone's kitchen and then you can hear the birds outside and you're thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Remember them days? Flipping heck. Hey, we were only 18 once, mate. You've got to experience it all, haven't you? Manny Emilius, good call, that pal. On the other hand, you will get people who will milk that dyslexia card with you all the way. Yeah, I mean, if you were that way inclined, if you wanted to crack on, you've got um, if in the future she decides that she wants to be a sponger, she could probably go and get diagnosed and pull all those stops. But hopefully, she gets a little bit of my work ethic and wants to make something for herself. So we'll see anyway. See. So you never know, do you? You try your hardest with people, but you never know what they're going to do. All I want for my kids, all I want for them, I don't want success how the world views it. If they're happy, they are the most successful. I just want them to be happy. And I want to show them. I want to teach my kids that happiness doesn't come from what the world does to you and the external. Everything out there that happens to you isn't what shouldn't be what determines whether you're happy or not. It's what you do in here that you put out that determines whether you are successful and whether you have a happy life or not. And that's ultimately the lessons I want to try and teach my kids. Because I had to figure that out myself, you know. Um, I've had quite an interesting life, and things that have happened through my life. I could play on the I've had a hard life. I don't. I could have quite easily gone down the crime route. If I come from a council estate, mate, and I'm not trying to big myself up, but as a young lad, I wasn't a muppet, you know, I could handle myself, I could not trying to big myself at all. But if I had gone down that I want to be a drug dealer route, I probably could have been quite a very lucrative sort of drug dealer. I probably could have done quite well at it. You know, I probably could have been quite a good criminal. And I had all the excuses. You know, my dad used to smash the house up. He used to batter my mum. Used to batter us. You know, he was an alcoholic. All the rest of it. You know, I grew up on a council estate. You know, I used to end up flipping. I had, flipping lads wanting to fight me all the time. I had all the excuses and all the right environments to be a criminal. But you can just decide what you want to do, can't you? And it's not what outside that influences you. It should be what's inside that you're putting out. That you know, you make your own choices. Simon Palmer, if you listen to Audible, the Ragged Trousers Philanthropist, phil- the Ragged Trouser Philanthrop Philanthropists, philanthrop flip it, I can read it. It's a tongue tire for me though. Some words I can't say properly. Philanthropist is on there, narrated by Tony Robinson. Um, Tony Robinson. Oh, I thought you said Tony Robbins then. I was going to say, flipping heck, has he done that? Has he? Tony Robinson, Blackadder's Baldrick. I just found it on there, so I'll be listening to it after your stream. Ah, spot on, yeah. Okay, I'll have a little look. I've got Audible as well. Liverpool School Plastering. You know your kids, mate. We have a girl with autism, and she was unable to speak until she was 6. Now she's 14, and she's an amazing singer. People are talented in different ways. Yeah, spot on. So when our Maisie, I don't think she's got a very strong case of autism, but when she was, especially when she was younger, she would show certain traits, and my missus was very aware of them. Um, Very close connection with animals. Um, didn't play with other kids in school. She used to do a thing called parallel playing, where there'd be all kids playing here, and she would be next to them playing along, but on her own, but alongside them. Um, if we took her to new places or changed plans, she'd have an absolute meltdown. Very skilled at horse riding. Our Maisie could ride a horse before she could walk. Genuinely, like no shit, she could ride a horse before she could walk. We've actually got videos of her riding a little Shetland pony around a menage, like, and getting off and not being able to stand up and falling over. It's flipping absolutely crazy, right? We used to take her to shows and she would win every single show she went to. In fact, it got a bit on top because we'd go to some shows and you get sort of like, you know, other parents and they get the hump because they knew, because Maisie was there, that their kid wasn't going to win. And you could see them like, "Ugh," and they wouldn't enter the kids into the classes. So then the whole, you know, the show jumping class, there'd only be like, you know, 5 kids as opposed to 10 kids because it's not worth them paying to enter the class because they knew they wouldn't win because our Maisie was there, which was great for us as a pet. You know, you feel proud, but I'm also conscious that it's spoiling their day. So I'd feel a bit guilty, you know. But here's the thing with our Maisie. If we took her to a showground to compete, if she'd never been there before, she'd have a meltdown. We'd get there, get her out the car, you know, she's like 8 or something. I can't get my boots on. And she'd be crying and she couldn't put a hat on, but it wouldn't fasten. It would, but she'd be, she'd be on the floor. She'd just kick off. She'd just, a flipping brain would go. She'd go nuts. You know, she'd be sobbing her heart out and I can't do it and all sorts of stuff. Very capable, but because she'd never been there, it's a new environment. So what my missus used to have to do was, if she was at a show, say Kelsall Showground, my missus would have to take her the day before in the car. Go on, we'll go for a drive. Oh, this we're here, you know, take her to Kelsall. Oh, what's this, mum? Oh, there's this place, and we have a little walk around. Oh, yeah, and then off they go. The next day when she's competing there, say, "Oh, do you remember where we were yesterday? That's where we're going today." Fine, fine, no problem, no meltdown. Flipping nuts. I mean, all these there's more things I could tell you, but ultimately she's definitely got something with her brain. There's definitely something in that little peanut of her head. I mean, but I think we've all got little traits of certain things, haven't we? You know. Um, Adam being content is the prize at the end of the day. Correct, mate. Correct. People always say it's being happy, but the thing is, you can't be happy all the time. It doesn't matter who you are. You cannot live your whole life happy every single day. Being content, that's a good goal. I'm with you on that, Adam. Manny Emilius, where's that comment gone? Fit a TV in the bathroom and all the family can watch you on YouTube. Flipping joking, aren't you, mate? Uh, School plastering, always support people when they have their heart in the right place. Better go. Chat soon, mate. Talk soon. Take it out for the kind deed that you did for me and the other guys that you added memberships for, mate. Thank you very much. It will be a great pleasure to go and meet you in person. I'd like to shake your hand in person as well, and come and see what you're doing and meet all the people that you're training. That'd be fantastic, mate. So definitely, please get in touch. It'd be an absolute pleasure to come and see you. Uh, Mark Holt, I'll be your boyfriend. Mark, I've got expensive taste, mate. That's all I'll say to you. What I used to work with a fella, right, Carl, and he used to have a laugh all the time. He'd say to you, he'd say, "Forget girls, lad." This is like one of my dad's mates. He's a plasterer as well. He'd say to me, "Forget girls. Get yourself a decent boyfriend, son. You go and get yourself a decent boyfriend." He said, "You flipping, no one's nagging you to come home from the pub. You got two fellas bringing a wage in. You'll have loads of money." And then he used to say, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but being gay might be flipping nuts, is He's a funny fella. By the way, I'm not homophobic, so if there's any gay people watching this, don't take any offense. It's just a laugh in it. I've got flipping loads of gay mates, and we have a good laugh. You just got to be able to. That's the that's the thing. I think with the next generation, they're offended by everything. Everything offends you. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself. As long as somebody isn't trying to hurt you or belittle you, you've got to be able to just take a joke. That's the beauty of life, being able to laugh at yourself. Life's not fun when you're offended at everything. I've had people complain that I'd watch it, but I can't look at that picture of those butts there. Well, I'm very sorry, but I find that been great to look at. I like it, so it's staying. You be offended all you want, mate. Off you go. Adam, make sure he signs that trial for you. Uh, School plastering, that's very common. Girls keep it in and keep to themselves and just melt down. Lads, show it. We will chat again, definitely. Spot on, mate. Thank you. Agree, Simon. Seeing your comment. I don't know what Simon said, but his comment's gone. But it must have been good anyway, because School of Plastering's agreed with him. YouTube. No way is this live. I was only watching a random plastering video earlier, and here you are again. Yeah, man, we're still live. I'm flipping nuts, aren't I? It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to bed in a minute. I have a plasterer mate called Carl. Yeah, yeah. This is Carl Howard. Actually, we worked together for a few years. He was my dad's mate, and then me and Carl ended up teaming up for quite a few years as well. YouTube, when I'm walking down the street, I'm not looking over my shoulder for gay people, that's for sure. Yeah. MC Shopping Centre, the world needs more humour. The more offence, the better. Yeah. So, especially for blokes, I find, if I tell you the funny thing as well, what I've found with fellas, if something's really bothering a fella, if he's really getting down about something, um, he will bring it up in conversation, usually as a joke. So pay attention to what fellas laugh about as well. Now, I'm not trying to come out the closet, by the way. Don't think for 1 minute that's what I'm trying to say here. But I'm trying to give you a little bit of insight into men. I've worked with loads of men, been around blokes for years and years, and I'm quite tuned into them. And if a fella is joking about something, pay attention to what he's saying, because he might be asking you for help without saying it. All right. We're all too proud to ask for help. And whilst we're on the subject of helping fellas, a lot of fellas, when they need help, if they need a little bit of support or something, right, a lot of fellas when they're feeling down or blue or depressed and they're reaching out, they don't need they don't need your sympathy, right? You can make a man feel a lot worse by being very sympathetic with him. All right, you might want to get things off his chest. That's fine, but ultimately, I find the best way to help men is make them feel useful. Well, not feel useful, make a use for them. You know, men like to be useful. So, for instance, just a random example, right? If I've got a mate who's down in the dumps, but he's good at fixing cars, then my car will develop a problem, okay? And he'll be coming to fix it for me. And then I'll be like, hey, flipping that mate's spot. You pulled me out of the mud there. Men like to be useful and they like to be doing things. All right. So give a man a purpose. Don't give a man a flipping don't give a man a, a shoulder to cry on. It'll be okay, mate, you know, and all that caper. Give him something to do, make him useful, and he'll feel fulfilled. And you'd be surprised how you can lift someone's spirits like that with a bloke. Women are different, you know. Women like to get it all off the chest and cry and have a hug and it'll be okay. And there's a cup of tea and some tissues and all that. Us blokes are a bit different, aren't we? Uh, YouTube, I'm offended. Well, then be offended. Nothing happens. Steve Hughes. Yeah. Yeah, it's class, is it? I'm offended. Good. There you go then. Well done. Carry on. Liverpool school plastering. He was talking about dyslexia. I've lost the thread now. Anyway. Uh, gentlemen. Uh, what's going on? Why are all the comments coming through? What's happening? I thought we're at the end. There's millions coming through. Oh, right. I'm going to read these comments and then I'm going to have another one of my little crazy shakes, and then that's me. Simon Palmer, thanks, Liverpool School of Plastering. I meant I'm dyslexic, but my fucking phone is dyslexic and auto corrected it. Yes. I, I tell you what's interesting. Oh, Maisie, who's dyslexic, her text messages come through crystal clear because Apple, the iPhone, gets it perfect for her. If I get text messages from the other ones, I have to decipher them. You know, are you coming later? Letter R, letter U, coming L, number 8. I'm like, I can't read the text of the ones that can flipping read and write. The one that can't read and write comes through like a pristinely written letter, you know, from a solicitor or something. I can read it perfectly. Um, spell check's a bitch. YouTube, yeah, it's degrading the sympathy. Yeah, I know. I'm saying this, but I'm only speaking from my experience and what I've experienced with other fellas. I mean, maybe some psychologists will tell you different, but I know one thing. When I feel down in the dumps, the last thing I want to do is talk about my problems. Okay, I want to, I want to get on a roll of solving problems. Okay, so I might feel down and low, but then I fix that for them, and then I get a bit of a lift, and then I fix that for myself, and you get the ball rolling again. You know, you get yourself out that little hole, being useful, but sitting there, sort of dwelling on your problems and going over them and talking them, and someone patting you on the back, you know, sort of makes you feel weaker. Or it does for me, makes you feel, you know. By the way, I don't suffer depression or anything. I'm a human being, and I've got a full range of emotions. I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel anger, I feel horny, I feel depressed. In my opinion, it's like someone saying that they suffer depression. I'm not saying, well, I'm saying it, I'll just tell you my thoughts. It's like saying that I suffer from happiness. In my mind, a feeling is triggered by certain actions. So I know if I spend time with my little lad, if I spend time with missus, if I work hard and earn money and take them on a nice day out, I feel content and happy. Okay, that triggers happiness. I know if I drink 20 pints every night for the next week, flipping watch porn on my phone, flipping lie and cheat and steal, that I will ultimately start to feel depressed and down. You know, if I work too much, I'll start feeling anxious. I'll get anxiety from doing too much work. For every sort of for every feeling that you feel, there's got to be a trigger that triggers it off. So when someone says, I suffer with depression, I would say you're probably suffering because you're in a cycle of doing things that make you feel depressed. So stop doing that and start doing the things that will ultimately make you feel happy. More and more people say that they suffer with depression, but I think that it's more of a case. There is some people that genuinely have a chemical imbalance in the brain, but I think that's a lot more of a rare case than people that think that they suffer with depression. I felt depressed. I felt anxious. But in my mind, I think I can fix this. You know, yeah, it doesn't happen like that. Might take you a day or two, of doing the right things, play some happy music, go for a walk in nature, turn your phone off, stop drinking, whatever it is that, is triggering it. Again, it's not it's not medical advice. I'm only talking from my experience. So whether you listen to me or not, or take my advice on board, then fair enough. But it's just my two p's worth on it. Liam Adamson, I've been trying to be happy recently, but me and my girlfriend are going through a hard time, and as much as I love her, I'm giving up and need to work on myself. But you always motivate me to do so. Liam, do you know the mad thing, mate? My thing is relationships. There's something another way of looking at it, mate. Relationships with your missus, yeah, always up and down like this, right? And the longer you've been together, they slowly start to you sort of get to a point where we used to have blazing rows, me and my missus, and I mean, we've had we've had life or death experiences where my missus had knives out and all sorts. She ripped the architrave off once, off a bookcase and was hitting me with it, and it had a nail in it. I had flipping nail holes going in my arms and everything. Right? We've but the way I was brought up with my dad, sort of being quite hands on with me and our kid, beating us up, and my mum and smashing the house up and stuff. I always made a promise that I'd never, ever hit a woman. So I've never struck my missus. I've never tried to inflict pain on her. And I never would. It's just something in my mind that I could never do it. But I'm not saying she's never done it to me. And we've said mean things to each other, flipping really tried to hurt each other. When you come through all those hard times, it's not fun at the time, but it actually makes you stronger. You're never going to get a perfect relationship. You're never going to get a couple that just love each other. It's all lovey dovey all the time. There's always going to. We live in the real world, man. There's always going to be bullshit. But the thing is, it's when you get through it. That's what sort of goes. You've been through so much together, so work on yourself, mate. Make sure you're in a good spot, but it doesn't mean that you have to write it off and walk away. If she's not cheating on you and you're not cheating on her, then ultimately everything else can be fixed. You know. Mark Holt, Kirk, it's 1:30. Go to bed, then I can. Mark, you're getting your money's worth here, mate. 1.99. You got me all night. who put a pound in the dickhead? Mark. I'll keep chatting till I fall asleep. You should be doing really well. Fuck off. Yeah. Callum Windsor, Kirk, what's happening, big man? Well, I'm not in work tomorrow, mate, so we're just having a little chit chat. And I wish I could say I'm having a few beers, but I've been drinking flipping what's that stuff? Vitamins and minerals in a drink. Where are we? Callum Windsor, softy here. Only bought a 3-bed house, literally wall to wall and ceilings Artex. No bullshit. So far, I've plastered 2 walls just watching your channel. Proper happy with them, man. I'm plastering the whole house. It's fantastic, mate. Spot on. Good to hear it. Adam, well done, Kurt. Lad, massive shout out to you and look forward to the next vid live. Cheers, Adam. Take it easy, my mate. Alistair Booth had a mate whose missus had depression. She decided one day to end it, then changed her mind. She ended up burning the house down. So to cheer him up, we got him a Man U shirt with cinders on the back. Flipping heck, yeah. Oh. Simon Palmer, my messages come through clear about the 3rd time of correcting and reposting. Fair play, mate. Mate, uh, as long as I know, then I'll try and decipher what you're saying. Sometimes I don't know if people have got dyslexia or if they're just pissed. So you I try my best to work it out, you know. I'm quite good at working it out most of the time as well. Um, Good on you, Callum, yeah, from school plastering. I thought you were going anyway, school plastering. Thought you were getting your head down. Um, YouTube, I can't understand depression or imagine it either. We all have our own spirit, I guess. Um, Mate, yeah, so I would imagine depression feels different for everybody. I can only tell you how I feel when I've felt what I would class as depressed myself. And how I felt was empty, no enthusiasm, no energy, no interest, and sad. That's how I felt. I felt like the feeling that you want to cry, but for no apparent reason. And I felt lethargic. I couldn't be bothered getting up. I didn't want to speak to a single person. I just felt disinterested in anything. Like nothing brought me any pleasure, if that makes sense. Nothing brought me any happiness or pleasure. And speaking to family or anything, thing like seeing the kids playing that, rather than making me feel happy, just made me feel sad. That's how when I felt a bit what I would say depressed, that's how I felt. But I I know what caused it. I'd overwhelmed myself. I worked flat out for like 2 years, you know, and I just got to the point where I just it was it's just I was just empty, you know. It was just like I'd had enough, too much, you know, just doing too much. Um, and ultimately, it compounds things. So I worked flat out through all the COVID situation. There was tons and tons of work, and I just went hell for leather. So I'd been hit by the tax. I had to give the taxman 37 grand. Then I worked flat out for 2 years solid, literally 7 days a week for 2 years. And that overwhelmed me. But at the same time, to make that worse, I hadn't spent any time with the missus and kids. So rather than, because they're craving your attention, you see, so rather than feeling um, happy, you know, because I'm trying to get them money. They're telling me they want me time. So in the end, my missus is arguing with me and giving me shit. And I'm thinking in my head, all I'm doing is trying to get money to replace what we've just lost because I've just had to pay the tax man. And I'm doing all this for you. And you're not happy at all. You give instead of thanking me for what I'm trying to do, you give me stick. So that compounds it. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. And my missus is giving me grief and I've just had enough, you know. And we went through all COVID, and the flipping world was ending, and all the rest of it. And I didn't get vaccinated, so everyone was giving me stick. All my family was trying to pressure me to have the vaccines that I didn't. I didn't have. I didn't take them in the end anyway. So all that sort of what made me um, basically staying here. Before this, was before my YouTube channel, I stayed in here for basically about 5 days on my own. I just slept on the couch there. I just slept on the couch and drank about flipping 20 cans of beer every single day. And then I emerged and I was like happy again. It's like, hey, that's the end of that. Back to normal again. um, Mark Holt, Simon Palmer. I definitely don't suffer depression. I deal with my depression. Yeah, that's it, Simon. I think, mate. It's I think we've all got a full range of emotions, you know, and one of our emotions that we can feel is depressed. So when it comes about, you deal with it, isn't it? You know, it's like when you feel angry and you can't calm down, you've got to find a way to calm yourself down, you know, before you kill someone. It's just another emotion, isn't it? You know. And we all know how you deal with it when you feel horny, you know, flipping put bite marks in the wife's arse cheeks. um, Depression usually comes from regrets. Yeah, do you know, it's mad, isn't it? There's so many different triggers that can trigger off different feelings of people, you know. And I think when you go down there looking at it from a psychologist's standpoint, there's things that are in your subconscious mind from your childhood, different triggers for different people, you know. Um, YouTube Dr. Trowell, I wouldn't go that far, mate. I I only speak from my experiences in life, but I do try and analyze a lot of stuff that goes on in life, and think about things on a bit of a higher level than face value, So yeah, I don't fancy myself as any smart arse, mate. I just know what I know, what I've been through. Um, Simon Palmer, I've suffered from the meds given to me to suppress the depression. I'm not saying don't take antidepressants. As with all meds, be aware of the side effects. Good shout, mate. Good shout. Um, Mr. Dutchy Dutch, hello from the UK. How's it going, mate? YouTube. All I know from plasters is it's graft, holding your arms up. The most depressed I ever got was when a family member or my dog died, but I always got through it. We all do in the end. Spot on, yeah. You're right, mate. I was worse somehow when I had to have my own dog put to sleep. Worst day of my life. Cried every night for a week. Look at the old pics and videos. Yeah. Do you know what though? I do think it's important to grieve as well. If you lose somebody, trying to just crack on and go through it, you've gotta there's a time to grieve, isn't there? There's a time to grieve and then a time to heal. You've gotta come to terms with it and deal with those emotions. No good bottling them up. If you need to stay in the house for a month, and flipping let everything fall apart and don't have a shower and flipping drink yourself stupid or do whatever you need to do, and really put yourself down in the dumps and then come back out like the phoenix out the ashes. Um, Adam, I'm not sure you'll ever know the impact you've had since making your channel. Lots of us on here needed it more than you'll ever know. Take care, Kirk. That's all. I know, mate. I know. I know, because we're all the same, mate. All us blokes, mate. We all go through the same shit at different stages in our life, and yeah, it's good. I'm glad I've made a bit of a difference for you, mate. Spot on. Simon Palmer, another great live chat, Kurt. Discovered your channel while I wanted to patch a ceiling, watch a few others, but your videos was one that gave me the guidance and confidence to get on and do it. Spot on. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. YouTube never had an injection either, but I did put on a mask a few times because I felt sorry for shopkeepers and thought they were probably stressed out. So if someone doesn't have a mask on, yeah, no, 100%. I get you, mate. I get you. I I didn't. Right. So here's the thing. My missus, by the way, my missus went and had the vaccines. Right. I didn't. My mum and dad did. Um, not sure if our kid did. I'd never asked him. I never really asked people. I never asked other people because I never wanted to put it on them. I believe that what. So I didn't. Right. But I believe that my choice of um, medicine is my choice. So I was quite strong on the fact that I wasn't going to be vaccinated because it's my body and I'll have the decision. Now, everyone's saying you're an anti-vaxxer, you're an anti-vaxxer. And what I was saying to them was, if you want the vaccine, I will fight for your right to have it. If you wanted the vaccine and somebody else was saying no, you couldn't have it, but you wanted it, I would fight for your right to have it. It's your personal choice, and whatever you choose, I'm behind you. I personally didn't want it, so I will fight for my rights not to have it. And when they started coming out of all these things, people losing their jobs and all that, I was thinking, "Whoa, what's going on?" Yeah, well, the government for years have told you not to give in to peer pressure to have experimental drugs, but now the peer pressure means to have experimental drugs. I'm like, flipping no way. So I just thought I'm going to sit back and just see how this rides out. And yeah, I'm glad I did ultimately, but I mean, anybody that had it, great, fine. If you wanted it, good. I'm glad you had it. My parents had it, and they're happy that they had it. I think my dad goes and has his booster. It's his choice. For me, nah. But that said, I don't take any medicine. I don't like paracetamol. I mean, I get acid reflux. I could just go and take lansoprazole and carry on drinking. I don't want medicine. I don't like the thought of Western medicine, so I just stopped drinking. Hence that. I think, in my opinion, Western medicine is great for A&E. If you're in a car crash, these guys can get you alive. They can keep you alive. If I mean, my brother-in-law was in a bad motorcycle crash. He died in the helicopter. He flipping inflated his lung through his back with a flipping big spike. I mean, he's shattered his pelvis, his arms, and what they did for him, he's back up on his feet and he's back in work. You know, his bowel leaked into his body cavity. He was poisoning himself. You know, his piss and his shit was leaking into his blood and all sorts of stuff. He broke his ribs. He shattered his arms. He shattered his legs. He's got metal all over him. He's alive. He's back in work. Western medicine is fantastic. But that said, I believe that the pharmaceutical companies, it's too big of a business and they make too much money to get you better. It's sort of like, let's maintain you and keep you on tablets the rest of your life so that we can keep profiting. You know, it doesn't benefit them to get you better, does it? It benefits them to keep you alive as long as possible, as long as you're taking their medicine. If you look at it from a financial standpoint. That said, I'm sure there's lots of people that need medicine and all. I'm fortunate. I'm in a position where I've never really had to have, never been life or death for me. So, you know, I can only speak from my experience now, but I don't like the thought of taking medicine if I can avoid it. Uh, Simon Palmer, I subscribed and have been watching ever since. Oh, and the old beer crate I used to stand on helped too. Yeah, spot on. YouTube psychologists are amongst the most depressed, though. Ironic bunch. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I've actually got a family member who's a mental health nurse, and she's the flipping maddest one in the family. Like literally, she's a flipping schizo. Get a drink down, and she wants to kill people. So, and she's the one that just. I'll say no more. I don't want to cause any trouble. Only Fools and Horses when Grandad dies is a bit just after the funeral where Rodney asks Del, "How can you be laughing and joking?" Del says, "It's not even begun to sink in yet." Yeah, yeah, he's spot on, mate. Uh, Martin Bridge. Mate, the way you describe your depression sounded like you're talking about me. Never mind. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, mate. We're all blokes, aren't we? All go through the same stuff. Um, Liverpool school classroom. I've been homeless, living in my car before. I started my business. Depression hits those the hardest. Who's the strongest minded? I thought it wasn't possible. Yes. Yeah, you're spot on as well. Yeah. The strongest of us seem to go through the worst stuff sometimes, you find. Do you know what? I'll tell you an interesting thing as well. Whenever, when I used to love being in the boozes, I love going all the shit old boozes, all the rough pubs, you know. And I'll tell you now, the people that have lived the hardest lives, I know people that have been sexually abused as children. I know people that have been through similar upbringings to me with, violence and stuff. People that have been homeless. I know people that have been strung out on drugs, heroin, and all sorts of. The people that have had the hardest lives always seem to be the kindest people. It's almost like because they've been there, they have empathy because they know what it's like to be really down, and they're very careful about other people's emotions, and it's very interesting. You see spoiled brats and stuff, and they seem to like give put out negative, and then you get people that have had real tough times, and they're so kind to you, and it's a it's interesting thing, isn't it? Because you think, well, I want my kids to be lovely, but I don't want to torture them to make them like that. So, it's one of those things in life, isn't it? It's like flipping. Oh, you can't get that without that. The yin and the yang. MC Something Sensor. I outright refused to wear the mask. The way they bullied children was disgusting. I couldn't be part of that. Yeah, I didn't go for the mask either, to be honest with you. And yeah, it was mad, wasn't it? It was mad because you couldn't go in shops or anything. I tell you what got me, and I just started laughing. I just flipping laughed at the end of it because it was blowing my mind when we were all out back in the pubs again. I mean, I've got to be careful. Like I used to go on about this on Facebook, and my Facebook channel got closed down. They deleted me Facebook. So I hope that doesn't happen to me YouTube because it'll fucking really hurt me. So if anyone's watching from YouTube, I'll take it all back if I have to. Don't delete my channel. But I used to go to the pub, and when they said you ought to sit down your own tables, and you weren't allowed to talk to anybody on another table, and the bar staff were policing the pub. Hey, you'd only allowed to speak to people in your bubble on your table, and I'm like, this is like someone's having a laugh here, aren't they? Someone's taking the piss here, right? If you stand up, you've got to put your mask on to go to the toilet, but if you sit down, you can take your mask off. I'm like, is this for real? And there's people with minds that understand, but they're enforcing it. Like, wait there a minute. If I stand up, does the air that comes out of me change if I'm sat down? Is this for real? I thought this is. I'm waiting for someone to jump out and go, "Ah, we got you!" And it was all a big joke, but it was legit, and there was people enforcing it, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? This is cracking. This is a clown world." Oh, Simon Palmer, YouTube. A man went to the doctors. Doc said, "I'm so depressed." The doc replied, "Go and see Hap Hap the clown. He's very funny and he'll cheer you up." Doc said, "The depression." Oh, I am fair dues, yeah. Alan Gibson. I lost my best mate 2 years ago to suicide. I've not left the house since. Got a couple of ceilings that need skimming. Oh, wait there. A couple of ceilings that need the Artex skimming. How are you fixed, lol? Alan, I'll tell you an interesting thing, Alan. So, just reading your comment there. Alan's just said it. He lost his mate 2 years ago to suicide, and he's not left the house since. Tell you the mad thing. Oh, my dad grew up with another fella on the estate, Ernie, and they were like best mates. They lived like next door, round the corner from each other, like next door, but five or something. And Ernie was my dad's best mate growing up, and then he had a son, Thomas, and Thomas was a year or two older than me. So when I started growing up, I would go round to Ernie's house, and I met Thomas. So I sort of knew of Tom growing up, my dad's mate's son, yeah. And then he's always sort of been on my radar, just all right, mate, and that was it. I didn't really know him. Tom messaged me one night in the middle of the night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, and said, "All right, mate, have you got any work?" Right, so my phone's just gone off at 2 in the morning. Text message come from Messenger, Facebook Messenger has gone off on the side of the bed, 2 o'clock in the morning. So this was years ago, right? I've picked the phone up and the lights come on, and my missus straight away has gone, "Ah, who's that? Who's that messaging you? Some slag from the pub or something, right?" So straight away, that's caused a bit of a rift with me and my missus. So I've seen it to him, and I've just thought 2 o'clock in the morning asking me for a job. So in my head, I'm thinking, are you like off your head at a party somewhere, just doing stupid stuff? Because you're causing grief for me here at 2 in the morning. So I just texted him back, no. Right. So he said, "Have you got any work, mate?" I just no, gone. I didn't know because he's not on my radar. I don't see all that much of him. That it all, unfortunately for Tom, his life was falling apart at the time. He'd split up with his missus. He had nowhere to live. He wasn't allowed to see his kids. He had no work. He had no job, and all the rest of it. And what he was potentially doing was reaching out for help. And I've just texted him back, no. 2 days later, he committed suicide. Do I feel responsible, mate? Flipping right, I do. I didn't know what was going on. You know, that's how close I've been to it, mate. That plays heavy on my mind a lot. Flipping. I know his mum and dad. I'm like, I know his sister. I know I'm not fully responsible because it was what was going on in his life at the time. But what always plays on my mind is if I had said to him, "Yeah, come and see me on Monday," would he still be here? What I did was, after that, I didn't know what to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. So I ended up trying to raise as much money and awareness for the Samaritans helpline. The Samaritans do a free helpline where you can call them up, blokes, if you want to get stuff off your chest. I don't know. This is why I've looked into male depression and stuff a little bit more than perhaps the average Joe, because I've been that close to it where I feel partly responsible for somebody doing that, you know? Um, so anyway, what I ended up doing was I basically punished myself to an extent. I made myself do 2 marathons in one day, and got sponsored to raise money and awareness for the Samaritans. I didn't run them. I walked from Stafford back to Ellesmere Port, and I did it in 16 hours because I was on the canal. I didn't realise that the embankment on the canal was a slope like that. You know, I thought it'd be a nice towpath for like 56 odd miles, but it wasn't. The towpath only goes to the end of the town, and after that, it just goes to mud. And walking like flipping 30 miles in the mud on a slope, you get all sorts of cramps in your legs, you fall over, you flipping. Anyway, I felt depressed by the end of the walk. It was flipping, it was a hell of a grueler. But yeah, anyway, there's another story for you. There's another story for you with no sort of no closure, no ending, no sort of moral to the story. Just sharing my experience with you, mate. Um, Stephen Watson, why are you here? Small world. Why am I here? Don't know. I saw a plastering video and then saw this recommended. Yeah. Hey lads, I'm thinking this. Why am I here? I'm in the same boat. It's good though, isn't it? We're all just flipping. We're all awake at flipping 2 o'clock in the morning. Uh, where we going here? Adam, meant to be asleep, so tomorrow will be rough. Had a question on vans. Got a Transit Connect as a brickie. Looking to go bigger. Recommend new or used? Used van, mate. Get a used van. Don't get a new van. It costs too much money for the start. Go and get something 5 year old and sell it when it's 10 years old. Vans, I think planned obsolescence is a real thing. I think vehicles are designed to start falling apart at 10 years old. Get one at 5 years old, and you'll get a good chunk of money knocked off, and it'll still be fine. Most things won't break on a 5 year old van. They'll all start going wrong about 10 years onwards. So buy it at 5, sell it at 10. That's my best advice for you, mate. Some slack from the pub, yes. YouTube, mate. Trust me, this is a real situation. You get a text message at 2 o'clock in the morning, see what your missus thinks. A right minger. Yeah. Stephen Napier, chips fall where they may. You see some chips fall and may be able to catch some, but not all. Listen, this is you can't see this because it's hard to see here, but this is a lighthouse I've got tattooed on my arm here. And there's a parable about if you're into reading, there's a parable about the lighthouse and the tugboat, and the different roles that they play. When a ship's going off course, yeah, a tugboat will go down and try and drag the ship to safety, and it'll get bashed and beat up, and it'll be in the twos and fro's, and it'll ultimately end up getting burnt out and destroyed itself at some point on the rocks. Yeah. The lighthouse doesn't. The lighthouse will do what it can. It'll put its message out there. It'll put its warning out there, you know, but it'll stand firm and it'll stay there, be there for years. And ultimately, we all need to remember to be lighthouses. You know, you can put your light out. You can do what you can, but you can't go down and get in the trenches and wrestle with people. You know, if someone's determined to go and get shipwrecked and finish themselves off, you can't get it. You'll end up writing yourself off. You've got to you've got to be a lighthouse on a tugboat. Anyway, there you go. We weren't meant to be going deep on this. I'm trying to keep it light and not go too philosophical, but you guys are ba, ba, ba. YouTube. I had a lad in school that killed himself when his girlfriend dumped him. The crazy thing was, he was one of those kids that stood up for himself and was a bit of a hard nut. Mad at it how different things affect people. Shadow Bandit. I bought my first bag of multi-finish today. Fair play. Stephen Napier. What time you working tomorrow, pal? I'm off tomorrow, mate. I'm actually going to my uncle's funeral, so not till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll be having a nice lie in the morning. School of Plastering. Why am I still here? I'm knackered, but it's the best chat in a while. Mate, we've talked about some stuff, haven't we? Hey. Um, no more torpor. I don't even know what torpor is, mate. Um, I know you're on about Finnish, but I've never even heard of it. YouTube. I'm not knackered, but I should be. Stephen Watson still got my '06 Vivaro. Had it from you. Do you know what, mate? I had a 57 plate Vivaro. The only thing with it was fantastic. I couldn't fit boards in the back of it, and six gear fell off. And that was the van I had before I got the Crafter, VW Crafter. I think if you were going to get if I had a choice, I'd love to get a Toyota van, but they don't make one the size that I want. I want to be able to walk in the back of it and put 3 meter lamps of cove in with no hassle. So Crafter is perfect. It's long enough to put everything I want in, and I can walk in it. New Age Barbarian trial crew mixing through. Yeah, Stephen, what trial crew mixing through? Stephen Watson, good van, no silly buttons on the steering wheel to catch plaster dust. You spot on, yeah. YouTube NASA Freemasons throwing the trowel. Only Stephen Watson will get that one. Flipping it, mate. Don't get me on the conspiracy theories as well. Uh, Adam agreed. Think we're all meant to be here tonight. And Stephen, same here. No buttons and electrics. Probably why it's still going. Shadow on it like easy film. School of Plastering. Getting your money's worth there, Steve. Great van, though. Toyota vans are great, but felt a bit like a 90s gypsy driving it. Hey, I know. I've got an old Mark III Toyota Hilux, like what Top Gear tried to kill. That's my little toy. And I've got a Toyota Land Cruiser for the missus. That's what she does the horses with. Flipping, I'm a Toyota nerd, mate. I flipping love Toyotas. Indestructible, but the vans, they're just not big enough for what I want to do. So Stephen Clark, not responsible for Tom at all. 100% of people wouldn't have even bothered replying at that time. I know, mate. I know. I know. I seen you retracted it, mate, but I appreciate you saying it. Listen, lads. By the way, don't retract stuff that you're not sure about, mate. There's no there's no offence taken whatsoever or nothing. You're not going to hit a nerve or anything with me, guys. So I read what you said, Steve, and you're flipping spot on, mate. You're spot on. So. Yeah. YouTube, who remembers the Bedford Rascal? How narrow they were. Yeah. Brian Costello, have you considered making on the trowel stickers to put on our vans so we can all spot each other when we're out and about? Who was it? Someone said to me because I was talking about YouTube and saying like, I get spotted now. I go around places and builders merchants, doesn't matter where to go, I go to builders merchants, and someone's like, all right, Kirk, or cafes and stuff like that. But and someone said to me, "You've created a plastering cult now. You're making plastering interesting." Like flipping, yeah, little on the trowel plastering cult stickers. Can you imagine that? My old man had one. He's on about the Bedford Rascal. School of Plastering, red diesel guzzling bitch. Red diesel guzzling, yes. You could get away with it back in the day, couldn't you? Uh, Adam on the trowel stickers would be class. Is that a thing? Should we do the stickers? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll write it down with where did I put my little notepad from before? Oh, there we go. Stickers. We'll do stickers. Do you know what? We'll do stickers. I'll give some away as well. We'll just do giveaways with them. If people want them, I'll do them, mate. I've been right. Uh, uh, Stephen Watson. I don't know where. I don't know who you applying to there, Stephen. Naughty, you are you one of those crackpots who think the water doesn't seek its own level? Uh, YouTube, Stephen. Yeah, sue me. Right, I don't know what's. Don't even know what's going on with views. Fair play out of you. Brian Costello, I put one on the van. Sight sound. Um, School plastering, definitely get waterproof ones. Okay, sound. We'll have a look at that. I don't know. The girl that does the online store where you buy the t-shirts and the hats. By the way, there's a. I asked a girl to do that. Um, I just put a thing out on Facebook and said anyone that could do like social media marketing and design storefronts and all that sort of stuff because I could learn to do it, but it takes a lot of time to set everything up. So I just sourced all out to a lady, and she's just done it all in college. So she set everything up, and I all that store is all done by Shopify because people message me sometimes say, "Oh, I ordered a t-shirt, but it hasn't come yet." I'm like, I literally have nothing to do with any of it. I literally have the storefront. Yeah, I'll tell you the deal with it as well. So if you look on my thing, there's t-shirts, there's hats, there's kids' clothes, and all that. I've literally designed or had designed stuff that I want to wear myself. So you'll see me wearing them t-shirts. But here's the thing: the young lady that set all the store and everything up, she's just fresh out of college doing all that. So I said to her, "Do all this, and it's good practice for you, and I'll pay you to do it." So she's done it all, and ultimately she didn't want much money, and I think what she's done was worth more than what she wanted. So all the profits, anything that that store makes, she keeps. I don't even see none of it. I mean, she doesn't want it. She's like, no, no, I want you to have it, Kirk, or we'll split it or whatever. Oh, yeah, I'll just have it. Just have it. It's only peanuts anyway. It's nothing. It's a couple of quid. But I like it because she has the money. But then when I want new designs for us lot, I just tell her, and she's got an incentive to do them. Just see, she's got an incentive to make them because she knows it gets her money. So it's good to give her some practice doing it, and she's getting paid for it, and I get merchandise on my store. So it's all good. But ultimately, just so you know, the crack with that, it's not. I don't make anything out of it. I just have it, and she runs it. So, um, Adam, I'd rock one on the van. Okay, okay, we'll do it. We'll do them then. I'll speak to her. I'll see if she can sort of stickers out. Stephen Watson, there's only 50 people here. How can we both be here if there's 7 billion people? Right, used to are flipping nuts. Stephen Clark, um, love the idea of the tattoo. Brilliant that. I'm liking that lighthouse idea. Knowing me, I'd go cheap and it'd look like something else. Mate, I need mine. Ultimately, I didn't cover it. I didn't do anything, and I sort of I need it doing in black with white putting in there. But whenever I got a time to go and get a tattoo, mate, flipping that was done. That was done in some lad's flat who's a tattoo artist. After about 6 pints in the pub, and that was him having the 6 pints. I think I had about 10. So I'll be adding your YouTube page from our website. Shopify is the best. I use them. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, that's who does it. Shopify. To be fair, thank you very much, mate. I don't expect that anyway, mate. Uh, I know what it's like with your website, mate. More power to you, but I don't. I don't want to feel like I'm sort of imposing or you know. I don't do. I'm not very good at accepting help and compliments. I struggle with it. Okay, I'm one of these guys. I like to give, and when someone sort of like you're saying now, I'll link your YouTube page to me with website. It makes me feel very awkward. I don't know what to say. I don't really know how to take it. So I don't want to be offensive and say I don't want it. But ultimately, it makes me feel like I'm encroaching on your things. I appreciate your kindness. If you do it, then thank you very much. But I don't know what. It just feels awkward for me. I'm sorry. um, Adam, what a top bloke. Thank you, Adam. Stephen Watson, like used to it on about. City draw tomorrow. It's going to be insane in the season. Once a day. Yeah, there we go. Right, guys. I don't know what you lads, right? But I'm just telling you now, I don't know how long I've been on live for. 3.5 hours. Have you ever tried talking non-stop for 3.5 hours? I, oh, it's not easy. I promise you. It's not easy doing a live for 3.5 hours. I could talk to you for another 3.5 hours, but it's not that. It's just the flipping me face starts aching. So I'm gonna have another one of my drinks as well because I'm getting a bit cotton mouth. Oh. We've had a good old yap, haven't we, lads? Well, the video that I'm meant to be editing tomorrow before I go to the funeral, that might be on hold. So if my video doesn't come out till the end of the week, right, it's your fault. I don't know these greens drinks. I don't know how many of these you're meant to have, but I quite like them, so I just drink them like flipping like cups of tea. Yeah, you're probably only supposed to have one a day. I have about six, just because I think to myself, I don't want to drink. Why would I want to drink sugary pop and all that crap when this is obviously going to be better for me, isn't it? So, Mm. Stephen Watson, great channel, Kurt, top fella, and 52. I've learned a few tricks from watching you. Fair play, Stephen. Thank you, mate. And I'm sure, mate, at 52, I'd love to spend the day and learn a few things from you because you've been plastering, mate, since you left school. No doubt you've been around the block a few times. There's probably a wealth of flipping knowledge, mate. I could probably learn a few things from you. Mm. Cheers for the nice comment, though. Adam, you have to get used to the compliments, mate. You're heading to the moon. Yeah. Do you know what? I always feel a bit patronising because people say nice stuff to me. I don't really know what to say, so I just like, oh, thanks, appreciate the comment. Thanks, appreciate that. I'm like, don't mean to sound like like I'm just snubbing it. I just don't take it very well. Mm. YouTube dry throat, mate. Flipping, you're right, mate. I've had that flipping heater blasting. I'm talking for 3.5 hours non-stop. Gets a bit Robert J. Yes, my man. How are you, fella? Good, mate. Good. We're just winding it down. To be fair, mate, I'm just I'm getting ready for the quick shower and bed because we've been flipping. We've had a marathon of a live, and you know what the sad thing is as well. Uh, this now 3.5 hours of live, right? Potentially, this probably would have made a couple of quid, but because we got carried away and I started swearing and we've talked about all sorts of crazy stuff, I guarantee this has been demonetized. I guarantee it. I mean, you only have to say shit and YouTube will flipping demonetize your thing. So we've been talking about the vaccines, we've been talking about flipping depression, suicide, flipping. Oh, we've been. The money's gone from this video. I'm telling you. I don't do it for the money anyway. To be fair, lads, I just enjoy having a chat with you, having the crack. School plastering. I want to see you go viral, mate. You deserve a lot more for you and the family. I've seen some of the people on YouTube. You've got a gift, mate. Well, thank you. Thanks for saying that, mate. Thank you. Um, Adam, he was leaving 2 hours ago. Yeah, school plastering COVID will do it. You spot on, mate. You flipping know it will. Mm. Uh, Do you know what's mad, right? Well, not what's mad. I'm not sure. I'm sure on this, I can invite people to come live. Let me just check something. Okay, I don't think I can do it there. Let's just have a look there. Oh, that's something we should turn on. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen a button on here, lads, where if someone wanted to come on the video, so everyone can see you, and then we can just speak. Um, I'm sure that's an option. I just don't know where the setting is to do it because it'd be interesting. Like you got some proper old school plasterers on here, or some of the young lads. It'd be good to sort of do like a podcast style live, wouldn't it? As long as you aren't a nutter and going to say any crazy stuff, then. If it was 2021, they would terminate the channel. It's probably all right now. It's 2024, and everyone criticizing all that stuff turned out to be right. Yeah, I lost my last channel because of that stuff, and I was re-uploaded of someone else talking about it. Yeah, that's what happened to my Facebook. I ultimately shared videos of doctors that were criticizing all that stuff, and got myself banned off Facebook for a while, which was mad, absolutely mad. MC Shopping Centre, my channel still shadow banned from medical misinformation strikes. Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. So this is the mad thing on Facebook now. I keep getting from time to time, like I won't go on there and do anything, and all of a sudden I get a notification that I can't comment for 30 days, and it's because they've gone back in history and found something else that they don't like that I said a long time ago about. I mean, and I don't think I'm an offensive guy. I try my best to really have an opinion, but not be offensive with it. Because I'm entitled to my opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, and I try not to force my opinion on you, just explain where I'm coming from. And I've always been like that. And I've said things on Facebook in a very sort of delicate way as to not try and cause offense, but give someone an understanding from my viewpoint. And I've been banned from things that I've said 4 years ago. It's like there's bots, I think they call them bots, that crawl through websites or something. Like they go through, and once you flag up on the system, they start looking for more stuff. And I'm thinking, I've done nothing. I've been banned. I've been back again, and I haven't done anything in the between. And you've gone and banned me again from something I've said even longer ago. It's like I've been hate speech and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, I haven't flipping said nothing hateful about anybody. But there you have it. So it does concern me that I put all this stuff on YouTube, and you never know in the future if the algorithm will go through these live streams, find something that I've said, and close my channel down in 3 or 4 years' time when the next thing, you know, it's like when they're tearing the statues down of people that used to support slavery. You never know in the future. We may have talked about something now that becomes offensive in the future, and they come back in time, find this, and close my channel. It really happens. So I've experienced it on Facebook. School plastering like a Zoom. Yeah, I did a live, and I invited Joel Cook on, and we did it together, and that was good. Um, I've seen it. I'm sure I can do it just on this. I'm sure I can. I might be able to do it better on my phone. I don't know. I'll have to have a little experiment. But it'd be good, wouldn't it? If someone wanted to just when it's like this, when it's quite chilled out. I mean, there's no lunatics on now. I mean, you got to be careful, sort of who you could sort of say can come on the channel because could say all sorts of stuff and get me closed down. But any of you guys now that are chatting in the comments, I'd be more than happy for you to jump on and we could have a little chin wagon and what have you. But I'll have to figure out how to make it happen. Calvin, yeah, agree with you. YouTube, I noticed I started to get 2,000, 3,000 subs. That's when they do it. Yeah. If you word it differently, the comments go through. Uh, yeah, Brian Costello, you can never predict what will be offensive in 10 years' time. I know, mate. Mark Holtzkirk, a seagull, a shit on your shoulder. Mate, tell you what, if it sets like that, it's that shoulders and it's the opposite way on my camera. If it sets like that, then I tell you what, mate, I want nothing to do with that seagull. um, Calvin, loads of my comments don't go through on YouTube. Yeah, by the way, guys, just so you know, I don't, when I do one of these lives, I have the option to make it so only subscribers can comment. I have the option to make it so they can, how frequently people can comment on whether who can see the lives, everything, right? Just to let you know the type of guy I am. I don't filter anything. Literally, anyone can jump on my live, anyone can see it, anyone can comment as much as they want. I've literally had everything open. Do you know what I mean? Because I can have moderators on here. I can turn up and down what comments come through and what don't. I literally turn everything off so that people can just speak their minds freely. But YouTube still filter stuff. It's I genuinely is not me. I mean, if you whatever you want to say to me, mate, you can just flipping fire it away. But you've got to say it in such a way that you don't get blocked by YouTube. I assume as long as you don't swear, then you're good to go. Um, right, YouTube. If I ever got banned, if I never got banned, I'd have like 20 or 30k subs, I'm sure. I don't know how the similar channels avoided it that are now on the tens of thousands of subs. YouTube, YouTube, what was your channel about, mate? What was you doing on it? MC Shopping Centre, have you ever been asked by any of your customers about your vax status? I had one customer who looked horrified when I was honest about it. I offered to pick up my tools, but they knew I'm a great tiler. Um, no, not really. I just told the customers because it was mad because people were phoning me up saying, it was like the black market. Are you still working? I was like, yeah. I'm like, "Can you come and do a job for us?" I found that all the people that phoned me were also people of a similar mindset. They were like, "We'll stay out your way if you want." I'm like, "I don't really care. Do what you want. When my number's up, my number's up. If it's tomorrow, so be it, you know." That was my sort of thinking. Look, I could get ran over by a bus. So, yeah, I didn't really have any hassle with my customers. I did work for one woman, though, and she was a bit, not nuts. She was being very careful, you know. And my missus was one of the worst ones. My missus wanted me to sleep in the dining room, didn't want me upstairs in the because I was going out to work. She was scared that I would bring the deadly virus back and she would pass it to her mum who's got COPD and emphysema. So my missus was saying to me, "You sleep in the dining room, going in and out the patio doors, and keep away from the rest of the family. So if you get it, you don't infect us." You sleep in the fucking dining room. I'm not going to work all day and sleep in the dining room. I'll sleep in the big bed. You sleep in the dining room if you want to quarantine me. If you want to quarantine me from the family. So, yeah, yeah, we had a little bit of a disagreement about that, and in the end, she just decided, "No, we'll just stay in the same room, stuff it," Mm. And we all lived. We all lived. We're all okay. Well, hey, saying this, I have had COVID. I've had it twice. I don't know if you remember, not long back. I had a cough that lasted for about flipping 3 months as well. 100-day cough I had. I think that was something to do with it. So maybe I should have got vaccinated. I don't know. I didn't, and I've had COVID a couple of times, but I've lived. But you know, it wasn't nice having it as well. So maybe if I got vaccine, maybe I wouldn't have got it. Who knows? Um, The fact of the matter is, though, it's my body, it's my choice. It's your body, it's your choice, and I would defend your right to have it if you wanted it. I'd defend your right not to have it if you didn't want it. I'd stand up for whatever you wanted, and all I was saying to people was, I expect you to respect my wishes. If I don't want something, and if you want it, great, good, you get it. I'm happy for you. Whatever you want, I'm happy that you get your way. What I want, just respect what I want as well. And then people were saying, like, if you don't get it, you're putting me at risk. And I was like, but you've had it. So if you've had the vaccine, how am me not having it? How am I putting you at risk? That's like sort of saying, like, um, you know, if if you wear a nappy and I refuse to wear a nappy, you can't blame me when you shit yourself. Do you know what I mean? Ba-ba-ba. YouTube thing is, I never cared much about being popular. Yeah, same, mate, same. I'm just got to be yourself, haven't you? If people like you, they like you. If they don't, well, that's all you can do. Um, where have we gone here? Oh, I haven't kept up with the comments. Sorry, guys. I'll flip through these comments quick and we'll see where we're at. Um, right. School plastering might give more options offline when you're going offline. Yeah, I'll have a good check of it, mate. Stephen Clark, checking out Kirk. Great channel. Love the live stuff too. Thanks for replying. Keep up the excellent work. Right, Stephen, take it easy, mate. Um, YouTube, the chat display on channels with 1 million subs is infuriating. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. It gets a bit hectic in my little channel here, mate. Um, Adam really does go to show what kind of community you got behind you. The grafters and the goons. YouTube, when they're really popular, they switch off live chat like NASA. Lol. Yeah. It's the whole of YouTube. Um, on the channel, my channel was mostly flat earth stuff, but other conspiracies. I uploaded Eric Dubé stuff where he was sort of supporting Nazis, so that didn't help. Right? Okay, that's interesting. Eric, I'll have to have a look at that. I tell you what, one thing I did watch. Hellstorm, I think it was called, and it was a documentary showing the it was a documentary showing what the Allies did to the Germans. So that was quite interesting to see. Um, because obviously we're only taught one narrative, aren't we, in school? So you only get to see, what one side of it. The winners get to paint the history. Um, and there's always two sides to a story. So it was quite interesting seeing Hellstorm and seeing what we did, what the Brits, the Americans, and the Russians did to the Nazis, and some horrendous stuff. We sort of go around painting ourselves as the heroes and all that. And you see, what happened to a lot of German women, taking refuge in churches with the children when the Allied forces invaded, and taking refuge in churches, women and children, and they were getting raped and burned and all sorts of stuff, flipping horrendous stuff. But they don't teach you all that in the school books. It's interesting to see. Well, it's not interesting. It's a bit sick, really, but it's good to know because your mind can be warped by the school system, can't it? Anyway. Eric, I'm gonna have to look at that. Eric Dubay. Write that down. Interesting to see what he's got to say. Eric Dubay. Liverpool school plastering. Seen you in a vid with that guy who tried to plaster with a roller. Hope you had words with him. Yeah, Roger Bisbee. Actually, he's a flipping. 70 something he is, fit as a fiddle, cycles all the time. Yeah, he's a cyclist as well. I said to him, I don't like cyclists. Flipping- they drive me mad. I tell you the mad thing, right? But cyclists, when they block you and won't let you past, and the road's clear, and you think to yourself, you are flipping driving me mad. I always give loads and loads of respect to other road users, cyclists especially, and horse riders. My daughters go out hacking on the roads, right? So I'm because it's my kids do it, I'm always over compensate if I see somebody out in a vulnerable position, a cyclist or a horse rider. I always give them big, wide passing, nice and slow, because I think that could be my daughter, and I wouldn't want to hurt somebody else's daughter or cause anybody else's horse to spook and rear up. Because if you go past the horse too fast and it rears up, it might be funny for you as the motorist, but that can someone could fall off, have the foot caught in a stirrup, and the horse takes off. You can kill someone just by going past them too fast. So horse riders and cyclists, I always give loads of care and attention to them. And what upsets me is when you're a courteous driver like myself, and it's usually cyclists that do it. And even though I'm very careful and courteous, and they still take the piss, and you think, "Come on, mate, you're annoying me, and I'm trying to be careful around you, and you're flipping like trying to force your will, not making it so it's almost impossible to get past you, and I have to wait." And I think when the road's clear, I was saying all this to Roger, and he agreed with me. He said, "You know what, Kirk?" He said, "There's some fellas out there, some cyclists that get us a really bad name and make it hard for the rest of us, but it's not all of us." So, anyway, we had enough, boys. We had enough, or what? Roger. YouTube. In fact, there's a reason, and they took Dubai's channel too. He had over 100K subs. Another one it happened to was RV Truth. Okay. Uh, YouTube, you end up not knowing what you can and can't say. It's pathetic. I know, mate. I've caught myself being a bit conscious of what I'm saying as well. So I've just, I've been keep. You never know, do you? You never know. You can say one thing, and the next minute your flipping channel gets closed down. So, Stephen Watson, Roger Bisbee is sound. Yeah, he was sound. Um, uh, he was sound. He's not a plasterer, he's a plumber, and the fellow has a go at everything. And he's got quite a good broad knowledge of most things as well. Interesting. You can glean knowledge from everybody, whether you agree with the way they do certain jobs or not. And Roger is nice bloke, all in all, and he's got quite a good sense of humour as well. I took him out for a meal before the day of filming. They travelled up, so they landed the night before. So I went and met him and took him to a restaurant. I had a bite to eat with him, and we actually had a great. We were met. I had loads of questions wrote down that I wanted to ask him. I wanted to pick his brains on YouTube because the fella's been on YouTube forever. I had loads of stuff, and in the end, we just had just a laugh for about 4 hours, and then just went home. So. Um, school classroom. The roller plasterer is a cyclist. Surprise, surprise. But he's a nice guy, though. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he didn't have much going for it there, did he? Uh, oh, I reckon Kelvin is trying to get the channel shut down here. Burger King picks up people. Royal families gonna want the Earth being round. COVID, and listen, I've been down all the rabbit holes of the conspiracy theories as well, but we can't talk about them because you see what happened to your channel. So I'm not saying nothing. Um, Harry left. Yes, surprising, isn't it? Uh, right. Stephen Watson, never argue with a moron. They'll drag you down and beat you with experience. Yeah, There you go. That's the end of that. Gentlemen, I'll be honest with you. I could talk to you for hours, but oh, I'm getting tired. I'll get my head down. It's been a pleasure. We've had a good laugh, haven't we? It's been nice. Been longer than I thought, but they always are. We get going, and that's it. So it's been emotional. Touched on a few close to home subjects. As always, guys, absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your company. See you on the next one. Good night, God bless. Get some sleep. Don't be watching other videos on YouTube now. Get your heads down, all right? Big day tomorrow. See you, fellas.